Guys, you know what time it is. This is your boy David at the Irish Hotspot, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, bringing you Can Icky Answer Me with co-host Jack, and we are joined by special guest Henry from Henry Wright TV and Bob Spur from Bob Spur TV, as always, Bob. But look, we'll start with Jack. Jack, how are you, my man?
Keeping really well, David. Keeping really well. It feels like it's been a while since Can Icky Answer Me. It has been exactly a week, but, I feel like, I'm always looking forward to it, especially maybe this week, because the questions are maybe a bit maybe not so relaxed as maybe they've been in the last few weeks, David. They're going to be a bit more debate heavy, I would say, and I'm looking forward to it. Yeah,
100%. I think they're going to be some very good questions there. Good debates that we can get into. Bob, how are you, my man?
Yeah, very good for obvious reasons. Some good news today. And the reason why it feels like a year since last week is because so much has happened. So, a typical week in the Spurs life.
Nah, look, 100%, but I'm absolutely loving it, especially today's news. I'm not going to lie. Henry, how are you, my man?
Yeah, really well. Celebrating back-to-back wins and Kane staying, so couldn't really be happier, to be honest. Just a few more additions in this window, and we might do something. But, yeah, good to be back. It's probably been about a few months now, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a while.
But, yeah, we're back, ready to talk some stuff. Might get the suit on later. See how I feel?
No, look, I have to say it's good to have you back, Henry. Really enjoy having you on. The Harris Army love to have you here as well. So thank you for coming, my man. I really do appreciate it. Well, look, let's, Jack, maybe before we welcome the Harris Army, do you want to maybe tell them some of the topics we'll be going through?
Yeah, I feel like, it's going to be everything from, the Kane business we will get into. It's practically, I think, the second question. We'll do a little warm-up one, maybe one to, just kind of warm up maybe the jaw or the tongues for everybody. It's going to be about Hugo, and his 300th performance. And then from there, we're going to go on to Kane. And, we're going to have plenty of questions on Kane. So everybody in the Harris Army to the panel here will have their opinions on it. There will be certainly a lot on that. And then we might even go towards the end. I will say we might go into a bit of, certain players, because it's a bit of divided fan base, like on Bergwijn. Some people seem to think, he's a bit overrated. Some seem to think, they're kind of Bergwijn sexuals, you could say, like more sexuals. We'll talk a bit about Dele Alli, how far can Dele Alli go, and as kind of a box-to-box player and much, much more, David. Honestly, I'm looking forward to it. Maybe Tanguy might be mentioned, and maybe the Daniel Levy situation. There's so much, David, so much.
And look, what better panel than to have three of the loudest mouths in the industry, to debate it, absolute brilliant panel. Let's welcome some of the Harris Army in. We have Adam, who says 2 live streams in one day. Irish Hotspur and Jack really have up the content like they said they would. Look, I made a promise. And I like to think we're delivering. I like to think we're delivering. We're a variety of different things out now. Big up, Adam. Appreciate that. Tottenham Tantrum. Thank you so much for the super sticker, my man. Really appreciate it. And says, great. Kane staying. Good boost for us for the season. Levy did stick to his guns. Fair play. He got this one right. But I feel he will go next summer unless we win something this year. Come on, you Spurs. Dermot, I like to think on the positive side of things. We now have a year to change his mind. So let's think about that. That's what I said. Big up, Dermot.
You're more private messages, to Harry Kane's Twitter, to his Instagram, Dave, for you. You bought yourself a bit more time.
Yeah, well, look, I used to tweet him out songs and everything else for him to listen to. Maybe he got the message, Jack. Maybe he got the message. David says, my favorite show, Can Icky Answer Me? Let's go. Big up, David.
Big up,
Best
David.
name in the world, by the way. Name of champions, my man. Big yourself up. Dark Song G says, come on, you Spurs. So is the watch along still not decided yet? I think Spurs need this watch along with We Are Tottenham TV in order to win. Jack, is the watch along going ahead tomorrow?
I haven't seen anything yet. I haven't checked my Twitter, Dave. I'm a bit like you, kind of I'm a bit kind of dormant on the thing. But I will take a look.
Well, Dark Song G, I will confirm it by the end. I promise. I'll give Matthew a text. Shamu says, Shamu, big yourself up. Catman Jess is in the building. Big up, Catman Jess. DMT 1985. Hope you're keeping well. Who else have we got here? We have
I can't confirm, Dave, that it will be happening tomorrow. You can check out Matt Hayes' watch along with me. I believe I'll be hosting. I know Matt Hayes will also be there, as part of the panel. Maybe Dave might make a, sneaky, cheeky feature as well. Be a strong panel for it, I'm sure. But yeah, I just looked at it. I just checked Twitter. So everybody, especially Dark Sun G, I know you're very interested. You can definitely head on over to Matt Hayes' channel tomorrow for the watch along.
They are Dark Sun G, so we will be doing it, and you will see me there. James Lloris says, Harris Army in the house. Big up, boys. Big up, Jamesy boy. Hope you're keeping well. Kieran Spiteri says, hey, David Traore to be our last signing, and Bergwijn isn't overrated. He has potential, and he's very young. Yeah, look, fair enough. Fair enough, Kieran. Look, we will get to that question eventually. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, look, you might not like what I have to say, but we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see, my man. Cody Mack says, Harry Kane, he's one of our own. Exactly, Cody. I know you're absolutely delighted, just like me, lad. Me and you, we never turned on him, lad. We never turned on him, Cody. My brother, big yourself up. Jelly and ice cream. Absolutely love the name. It's one of my favourite things to eat after a Sunday dinner, my man. So big yourself up. And he says, yes, lads. Seeing Kane wants a new contract with more money and a release clause. Yeah, I'm sure, look, we'll get into that as well. Tony Hall 89 THSC says, hello guys, hope everyone is okay. We're all good, man. Tottenham are back on the box tomorrow. I hope you're all good. Zoe, good evening. I hope things are well with you. Matt Hussain says, yes boys, big yourself up here, Matt. Jacob Nash says, good evening everyone. Big up Jacob. I hope things are good with you. We have Josh Seven. There's no chairman I'd rather have in this situation. I hate him, but fair play. Yeah, look, I'm sure we'll probably have that bit of a debate as well. Philip on their preview was saying fair play in a way, and Bob was having absolutely none of it. Ben Kaufman says, this battle today, lads. Let's celebrate. Yeah, we won the battle. I'm definitely popping some champagne after this as well. Golden Cock says, do you think it was the signed shirt Levy gave Hugo after his 300 appearances that convinced Harry to stay? What a tight Levy is. I can't say that word just yet, my man. Can't say that word. No, I'm telling you, it was me. I convinced him, lad. I'm telling you, I used to message him, tweet him songs. You know what I mean? Even when not everyone, but even when the odds were stacked against him, I still backed him. I still backed my boy. Dangsung G21 says, one of the fun moments from the watch along last season was the Harry Kane hair prediction. So I'm happy he's staying. Looking forward to the first Harry Kane hair prediction. Yeah, so my man, I can't wait to do it. I'm a bit worried that would be taken out of my hands this season, but no, look, Harry wouldn't do it to me. No way. We spoke to each other and he's staying. Ian Ferguson says, big up to Harry Kane and Kais. I'm delighted, Ian. I'm delighted. Dave, another great name. So many Daves. I could nearly have a David Army too. Let's go David Army as well. All the Daves that are in here, hashtag Dave Army. Let's see how many we got. Brian Ireland says, great panel. And hey, Bob. Big up Brian Ireland. Big up Brian Ireland. Adam says, good to see my man Henry right on. Yeah, it's great to have him back. It really is. And we have Dean Webb says, Kane will never sign another contract with Spurs. He will leave for free. Big up Henry. Yeah, it's good to be back. Kane will sign another contract. What was that comment? Sorry, Kane will sign another contract with Spurs. Well, big up Henry. Yeah, thanks for the support. Can I just say one thing? I see a comment. Was it a minute ago? And it was from. It was about the best weekend Spurs win and Arsenal lose. If Norwich score 2 goals and Arsenal lose by 3, they are bottom of the league. Can we all just celebrate that? Let's get them down there. I want you to stay, regardless if you've just won 6-0. Regardless, I think that's it, mate. It's maybe the unfortunate win that maybe we had to concede to them, maybe Henry, just so maybe the waves didn't crash too much over the Arsenal boat, right? We can't let it rock too much too early. You got to let them suffer and kind of fall for at least a little while longer. Yeah, 100%. Let's welcome Steve R, Dave Tyson, Blake Darcy. Go getting one as well, and Martin Sheridan in the building, and Ben Kaufman as well. But look, Jack, actually quickly make sure you do the basics, guys. Bit of housekeeping. Smash that like button. Absolutely drop an elbow on it. Our boy Harry Kane is staying. Make sure you smash it if you want him to stay longer than one season. As well, make sure if you're new, you smash that subscribe button. It's so worth it. Some of the best content on YouTube coming out here. Make sure you drop that subscribe button as well. And also, feel free to help support the channel. if you want, you can get your channel memberships. Come on and have your say every Monday at 9:30 on the Fan Show. Or why not jump the queue if you want and get your super chat into us for us to discuss and answer any questions you guys got. That's if you want to jump the queue. Sometimes this chat can get heavy, lads. It can get quick. So super chat is the way to jump the queue. But Jacko, let's get into it, my man. Let's start firing questions at us.
Absolutely. And the first one is going to be about Hugo and his 300th appearance, at the Molineux, away from home. It is maybe a bit sad it was away from home considering, but this is Hugo's quote, maybe just post-match and also maybe post kind of, reflection on his career. He said, in terms of, what he was asked about, his performance and, the match against Wolves, he says, not with the ball. I think that's an aspect of the game we can improve, but without the ball, this is what we want to see. Everyone committed, involved, making the runs, making the game hard for the opponent. That's a good feeling. The confidence is coming back, but in football, the balance can become very fragile if we're not focused every day. So that's the message. And so what do you guys maybe make on maybe this kind of importance of improving, our off the ball movement and energy? Is that maybe something he's thinking wasn't there before? Bob, it's okay, if it kind of always come to you first, kind of maybe always pick on you first. What do you kind of make of that? Is it, something about the off the ball movement, the energy, our pressing, these things that maybe Hugo's talking about that maybe wasn't there before?
Yeah, I think the first thing that's really evident under Nuno is the fitness levels. We're so fit. We're so much more fit than what we were under Jose. It's become renowned what Jose thought about gym work and fitness work, and you can see what working on the fitness does. And I think that's what he means, is to work not only on the ball, but keep that fitness levels off the ball, running back on time, making spaces, running into spaces, making forward movements. And I also think the other bit, he needs to keep the focus there. Taking the eye off the ball will mean that you stop doing that. Not keeping the fitness levels up will mean that you will, fall by the wayside, or certainly won't get the results that we're getting at the moment. So I think that's what it is. Carry on working on the fitness, making sure everyone's singing from that same fitness hymn sheet.
Right.
And just to keep that focus as well, and make sure they continue to do it, because it's towards the end of the season where we're going to need the fitness. Just like under Poch, we always look fit under Poch. And I certainly think he's taken a leaf out of that book.
Definitely. And then Henry, to you, what does he mean by, how the balance, the squad can become fragile if they're maybe not committed, to maybe what he was talking about in terms of that energy? Is that maybe a bit of a dig at certain players, maybe not being committed to Nuno? I mean, what do you think he is touching on there?
Well, but basically, I was going to follow up on what Bob was saying. Like, regards to the fitness levels, especially Dele Alli as well. Like, I know he does get a lot of stick, and I know a lot of our fan base is very divided. Some are, we've got Dele Alli and the rest of our let's cash in. But his fitness levels, the last couple of games, I think he run more than any player has or any player in the Premier League besides, I think, Souček, the stat was. But I think there's a little dig in there at Harry Kane. The more and more I read it, I'm very much on social media, sitting at the back of the bus on his own.
Maybe Tomby too.
Yeah, Tunga and Novella, he can't last 60 minutes on a football pitch. And he's gaining like pounds. But I think, there's a bit of a dig at Harry Kane there in there. Obviously, he's the captain. There was a lot of talk, I think it was 2 weeks ago, that there was a bust-up between the two. I don't know if that was similar to the bust-up between Vertonghen and Eriksen, if it's just media talk. But you can tell deep down Harry Kane doesn't want to be at the club. And I'll argue anyone, he doesn't want to be there. He wanted that move. But unfortunately, some things in life don't happen. So he's got to stick it out. He's got the World Cup coming up next year. I do think he'll give everything he's got for Tottenham. Yeah. But he's got to show it. This weekend will be very interesting coming up. I do think he'll start Thursday. I'm actually going to the game. So I'm looking forward to that. But, and it's got a big season coming up. The whole team has. Energy levels have got to be going. We've got to be winning everything. Javits Tanganga, we need his sort of passion. That first game against Man City, walked away with £100 million in his pocket, Jack Grealish, his car keys and his wallet. But,
and his Range Rover, Absolutely. And David, maybe, does this give you, maybe considering what Henry and, Bob just said, regarding Hugo's quotes, does this maybe kind of dig maybe at someone like Harry Kane or maybe the other squad members? Or does this, reflection on maybe the energy that he says he hasn't seen in a long time? Does this give you kind of a new perspective on Hugo, or do you think kind of Hugo has always been this outspoken and kind of this much of a...
Well, look, he has form of being outspoken. He came out after the Zagreb game, didn't he? Kind of dig
Right.
out a lot of home truths. For me, I just think it's a dig at some of the same players, really. No surprise it comes off the back, obviously after the Wolves game, but after what happened in against Pacos de Ferreira off the first leg, I think, look, he's digging out the likes of Harry Winks, Mr. Hollywood Doherty, Bobo the Clown, Sissoko, and Bye. Who else have we got there? Mr. Anonymous. There's loads of them digging them out, because the problem is no matter what the guys do on a Sunday, or no matter what the guys do, until we get injuries, they ultimately know as soon as these guys step in, performances drop, results drop, style of play completely drops. So look, is it Hugo Lloris maybe sending out a message maybe to the board? Cut some of these guys, get players in. You know what I mean? Maybe Hugo Lloris can see the basis or the nucleus of Tottenham going forward and where we can go with some of the energy and some of the players in. Maybe, you know what I mean? So maybe it's a dig to try and get some of the more of these bad eggs out of the dressing room, because we all know we have them. And let's be honest, I know people are never going to say Winks is not a bad egg, but he is. Because anytime he plays in these games that people back him say, these are the backup games he should play. Colchester, Antwerp, Zagreb, Pacos de Ferreira, plays in all of them. You know what I mean? And look, the same results keep happening. That's not unlucky. That's just because some of these players do not give a shit. And I'm sick of people telling me these guys are good backups. They're not. And at the end of the day, they have to go. They're too comfortable here. And it's just kind of like what Hugo Lloris was saying. And it's like what Højbjerg said at the start of the season as well, Jack. When he was talking about you have to be in training, you have to be on it every day. What sounds like to me is maybe that some of theyese guys just turn up. If they're feeling it, they're feeling it. If they're not, they're not. And they couldn't really give two cahoots. And look, it all goes down to them all being comfortable. Some of the names we talk about, how long have they been here? How long have they been here?
I mean, more than we can even count practically at this stage, David, especially me. But, as I will say, in terms of, some of these players, I think Hugo's quotes do kind of transition quickly into kind of this, where it is kind of, do all these players, do you feel like that's kind of stated they don't want to be here? Henry, do you feel like all the players that, stated they don't want to be here, is this maybe what he's saying? Is it kind of hurting that energy, hurting that morale, even that cohesion of the squad, maybe even hurting, Nuno's kind of message to the squad? Do you think he could be reflecting on that?
Yeah, absolutely. The morale of the squad, I think when Kane announced, when he did the video of Sky Sports and it came out that he did want to leave, I think that was like a massive effect to the entire squad besides Son. Everyone was down except Son was like, okay, that's fine. I can do it without you. I've done it without you. I carried us to the Champions League semi-finals on my own, and then Lucas took over. Not saying that we don't need Harry Kane, because he's top 2, top 3 players in the league and probably the best striker in the world on his day. But the morale before Nuno got there under Mason was absolutely horrendous. Mourinho completely destroyed the squad. Fair enough.
Mason didn't repair it either. Yeah, it seemed like,
Yeah, but he absolutely obliterated the squad. And Nuno, fair play to him. Nuno's done, 2 wins on the bounce, no goals conceded, a tough game against City. He dealt with the press and the media absolutely 10 out of 10 on Harry Kane every time, because we all know Sky Sports, they wanted Harry Kane to join City more than City wanted Harry Kane.
Yeah.
They were absolutely obliterating him in their interviews, and he did absolutely spot on. He dealt with the Ndombele situation well. He dealt with the Harry Kane situation well. You got to take your hats off to Nuno so far, but definitely the morale was affected with all the news that was going on.
Absolutely. And Henry Wright, really appreciate you. Especially please hit the likes. And maybe Henry Wright, can you maybe tell the Harris Army, to hit the likes, because appreciate your generosity.
Yeah, absolutely. Obliterate the like button. It is one of the most important things you can do on a video. Yeah, the super chats help, but it really does. It helps David know that you're enjoying the content, and it's a great way to support the channel. So, how many likes are we on at the moment?
Don't know. Haven't a clue.
Well,
appreciate you, Henry. Appreciate you.
Let's try and get it to 150 likes as soon as possible.
Yeah, 100%. No, look, 150 is usually the standard set here by the time we finish. Sometimes 200. So look, 200 would be nice. But I won't be picky. I'll settle for 150. Jack, another one here.
Absolutely. Dark Sun G saying, Henry and Bob, easy pass to Newcastle, rumors and thoughts. So Dark Sun G wants to know, both of your thoughts on maybe the Harry Winks moving over to Newcastle, but you have to call Harry Winks easy pass. I think, Dark Sun G, like David, he gets a little bit irritated, when they call him by his surname. But, as much as you can, Dark Sun G, let Dark Sun G know. What do you guys think about easy pass going to Newcastle potentially?
I'm absolutely gutted, for the great player that Winks is, and the amount of stuff he brings to the team, and obviously, you can all see a world class player there.
The English Jorginho, some have said for us.
That's it. We can all see he can be the glue of any good team, and he'll be in the World Cup squad if he continues to play with full potential. He just needs a really good home. And I think Newcastle suits him down to the ground. It'll be a shame. I'll light a candle. It'll be a massive shame. But please, Newcastle. Sorry, Newcastle. It's sorry to see him go. Yeah, absolutely gutted. But I suppose if he has to go, he has to go. Good luck to you, Winks. And if you need a hand going, mate, I'll give you a hand.
Henry, one of the most technically gifted footballers to come out of the Hotspur Academy. What do you say to Dark Sun G? How sad are you to maybe see him go to Newcastle?
Jesus Christ. But, I feel like a relative just died. Now, in all seriousness, I will drive this clown to Newcastle myself. He's one of the worst midfielders. I would probably say him and Sissoko are the worst midfielders we've had in the last decade. He's that bad. I look back to when we lost to Everton. Was it in the FA Cup or was it the League Cup? He was horrendous that game. He's got the turning circle of a double-decker bus. He can't pass. He can't shoot. He can't tackle. He is horrendous. So, yeah, let's all... Do you know what? I'd let him go on a free transfer. That's how much I dislike him. Because he's...
apart from that, Henry, he's all right, though, to be fair.
Yeah, but apart from being a horrendous footballer, he's all right, yeah.
He's all right, yeah.
Nah, look, he shows passion. That's all that matters at the end of the day. He shows passion, He gets his yellow card, he shows the passion, and he's a Tottenham boy, so... that warrants him to stay here, so I don't think we'd be seeing him go, no, look, I'm absolutely sick of this. I'm sick of him. I'm actually sick of the debates now. There is no debate. What are they going to tell me next? Oh, well, this is the thing, right? People are willing to defend Harry Winks that much.
It's supposed to be a Winksitarian.
They're blaming Nuno for the result last week with the team we put out. Absolutely ridiculous. It's nonsense. Like, when you're putting out these guys, this is the guys that everyone, the likes of Davies, Doherty, Winksy, Stinksy, players like that, right? These are the games people defend them and say that they should be playing. And these are the games, this is what we need them for. We lose every single one of them. We're starved for trophies at Tottenham, and we can't even get through the early fucking rounds, right? Because these guys bottle it every single time. It's ridiculous. They have to go. They're actually hurting the club now more than what they are helping the club. And for me, when that starts to happen, get them off. I don't care whether you let them go for free or not. I really couldn't less. Or do you know what? In fact, get Geordie Shore to buy him, offer him a contract and get him on that or something, because I'm absolutely sick of him. He's not a footballer. He acts like one. He's one of this acting squad, like this Hollywood team we have, where you have Winks, Davies, even Doherty's with facial expressions. They're all acting, pretending to be footballers. They just want to live the life. That's all it is. It's ridiculous. I'm sick of them. I've had enough. Get him gone. Sorry about that, Dark Sunji. You just bring it out of me, my man. Let's move on.
Let's move on. And also, Chris has been trying to tell you, Dave, you need to be more of a Winksitarian. You need to, just stop thinking about him. But yeah, like Dark Sunji, it just seems to, he seems to bring it out of you. But maybe I think I asked Bob maybe earlier about it, or I think it was Henry. So I'm going to move to Bob on it. Are all the players maybe in the squad that were maybe, stated to, maybe want to leave? Is this maybe hurting maybe part of like Nuno's kind of message and maybe part of the cohesion that Nuno is trying to build in the squad, do you think? Or maybe is that a bit overreading?
Yeah, Jack, I think that's kind of obvious within any group, really, isn't it, mate? Be it work, be it the office, be it, different...
Anywhere.
Different environment. If you're if you have a group, the whole old saying, one bad egg. And it will affect, because you don't know who that baghead has an influence over, is friends with. So yeah, 100%. There's rumours today, isn't there, that Nuno went round to all the players individually and asked, "Do you want to play for Tottenham? Do you want to play for Tottenham?" It's cheesy, but I can understand why he's done it, because when you've got your best player wanting to leave, and possibly the player with the most ability wanting to leave because his friends are leaving, Aurier clearly wants to leave, Sissoko clearly wants to leave. Yeah. I think he needs to establish a squad, basically, even if it's short in numbers, who want to play for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. I love that quote he said. It's not my job to convince my players to stay at Tottenham. Yeah. My convincing is how to play, or not convince them, or I can't remember what he said, but it was good. Anyway, I don't need to convince them.
Maybe just further up on what you were, brilliantly saying, Bob, I would say, like, with Nuno, do you feel like we're not giving him maybe enough? Or should we be giving him credit, or are we not giving him enough credit when it comes to this? Because he's had to kind of almost, be a diplomat maybe in this regard, in front of the press, for the fans. He's had to maybe negotiate and be almost a diplomat for all these kind of different personalities at the club.
Absolutely. And he's kept his calm, hasn't he? Whenever he's been pressed on the Kane question, he's always kept his calm. He's always kept class. He's always answered in class. And I think even on the field, we need to probably go. I believe you're touching on the Wolves game a bit, or I don't know if you are, but considering he's only been in the seat for under 60 days, he's managed 2 wins against the champions and away from home, a very good Premier League side with playing at home with the fans there after 18 months. Fantastic. I disagree with Dave a bit. I'm sure we'll go into it. I do believe there's some of the blame does lie on him for picking that team last Thursday. But I think as a whole, even the fan base, there was a sense of underestimating the opposition. I think, and people do that. Of course, it's human nature. But it's up to us to turn it around now.
Look, can we just get into that now quickly, Bob? Just quick, right? Just a quick one. So, right, you're saying, why do you think it's Nuno's fault for picking that team?
Because he's not done his homework, isn't it? Some of the blame has to go with him, mate. Some of the blame has to go with, he's been there, only 60 days, but he must know what the likes of a Winks and Sissoko and whoever, I know we didn't play him, but, there must have been a sense of him, we can play them, but at least put a stronger bench out. He must have seen what the opposition is like, because they weren't shit. Let's be honest. They did have something.
I would only blame him. Should he have done better homework on his own players?
Exactly,
maybe,
or his staff.
Maybe on his own players. He should know.
If anything, put the same 11 out, but maybe put a few stronger options out on the bench. Like I say, some of the blame is with him. I'd say about 20%, 15%.
Yeah, you're kind of what Philip was saying.
The players, for me, Lo Celso was the biggest disappointment. That was his time. He probably played a bit better against Wolves coming on a sub in a few minutes than what he did in the whole 90 or whatever minutes it was against Ferrero Rocher. So, in my opinion, he takes a bit of the blame. But, of course, the players didn't show up, and it was their chance to show up and and give Nuno a headache, and they didn't. But I just think maybe a bit of homework, and he might have just selected a better bench, mate.
I think Philip was kind of saying more or less the same thing as well, like earlier today in the preview. Just
my thoughts on that would be, like, I get it with the stronger bench, right? But them players that he sent out there the other night should have got the job done. Yeah. Without any doubt, they should have got the job done regardless, and they didn't. Now, for me, Nuno can only literally work with what he's got. Now, for me, look, we've gone into this trap before where we blame managers, and now we find ourselves in this situation. For me, when are we going to start holding some of these players responsible when the same results keep happening? Yeah, and then after that, then you look at the likes of a Levy or a Paratici and kind of think, well, why aren't these players gone? Not so much Paratici, he's on the door, but Levy, thinking like, why are these players still here? If the same results keep happening, why are these players still here? For me, I don't think we can keep blaming the manager, because my opinion is right. Session, season-long loan out on Hoffenheim. He should be
signing, by the way. One of the record signings we have, should be dominating them. Brian Hill only set it in. I felt sorry for Dane Scarlett,
but at the end of the day, there's a lot of hype about him. He has to give him game time somewhere. Then you look into the midfield. Winks was shambolic, absolute disaster, right? The same every single time. Lo Celso, people say this guy, he's gifted, this, that, and the other. When's he going to produce it? I'm sorry, but 2 or 3 months at the back end of one season is not good enough for me. Like, the problem at Tottenham is consistency with a lot of these players that we've signed. Our recruitment has been poor. I just don't think we can keep blaming it on the managers. When are these players going to step up and start taking responsibility for this sort of shit? We're only a couple of weeks into Nuno's tenure. The same players that let us down previous seasons, even under Pochettino, under Ryan Mason in the League Cup final, under Jose Mourinho, and now against Pacos, against Nuno, right? They've escaped every single one of them.
But doesn't that justify for him? Because we've seen, haven't we? And I'm sure he's seen it. I'm sure he's got reports of how shit these players are. You're 100%. They should have beaten them. For me, I think the only thing he could have done is probably just had a Lloris or a Bergwijn or someone like that, or even a Sonny, although or whoever.
Well,
just a bit of a stronger bench, just in case.
This is another point I wanted to make, Bob, just on that as well. So we complained last year, Højbjerg, Kane, Son, loads of players played nearly every game. People were pissed off. Why are they playing all these games? Well, the thing is, they're playing these games because they constantly have to bail in these other players out. Again, these same players that these results keep happening, they're affecting the youth's chances of getting game in a Tottenham jersey, right? And getting minutes to prove that they can get into the squad and into the first team. Right. And they're letting down the senior players in the team because when they need a rest, these guys don't step in. Now, we can keep saying like we can bring in senior players, but then we hammered the manager last year for picking all them all the time. You know, he's not playing some of these players. He's not playing some of the youngsters. He should be doing this. He should be doing that. But when Nuno rests them, now people all of a sudden they want them on the bench. They want them this. They want them that.
Every big club there. You watch any Liverpool, any Man United, any Man City.
They've always got insurance.
You'll always have 1 or 2 big names. They might not even use them, mate. But there's always 1 or 2 big names on the bench. I think that's the only thing I can point at.
Yeah,
the players should have won. 100%. You're spot on with everything. I just think he just should have just taken it just in case, because every other big club does it. Every other big club. If we consider a big club, mate, there's no reason why he shouldn't have. But we'll beat him anyway. We'll fucking 5-6-0 tomorrow, mate. So it doesn't matter.
Well, I wouldn't get too. We have this tendency to. We need to be humbled by European sides. Dynamo Zagreb absolutely took the piss, where Orisic turned into Ronaldo for 30 minutes. But I made an analogy earlier. Our squad is like a tennis game, right? You've got Federer, Nadal in Kane and Son, right, and Djokovic in Lloris. The rest of the squad is like how tennis works. You've got the top 5. And then the rest are average. That is what our squad's like. People don't realise this. We overhype players so much, it is beyond a joke. Our fan base does. And yeah, fair enough. You've got your favourite player, you've got every right to cheer him on. But let them settle. Like Dane Scarlett is 18 years old. Yes, he's been a goal machine. But look at in the under-23s, under-18s. But that was a big start last week. Like, these are 5th in Liga NOS. Let's not get, we're going to go and absolutely slap them. Because if they do like an absolute smash and grab 1-0, I will not be surprised 1 minute. Because
you know what, Henry?
Go on.
Just listening to you there, like, this is the thing. We shouldn't be sitting here saying if we get bet by Pacos. This is the problem. This is where Tottenham got to. We should never, ever be sitting here. We actually should be sitting here saying we're going to slap them. We should be sitting here
that's our level now.
And we're going to slap them. We should be.
60% of this squad is championship level. And I'll argue that to the day I die. Winks, championship level. Steyer and Sanchez are championship
being generous
level.
to some of them, Henry.
These players are. How many players outside Kane and Son start for the rest of the top 10? Let's be completely real. The only argument you probably have is Højbjerg and Reguilon. Everyone else, Dyer and Sanchez don't get in any centre-back pairing in the top 10. Aurier is just, you're better off without a right-back. Bergwijn couldn't score in a brothel, right? Who else have we got? Giovanni Lo Celso, who's so average, it is beyond a joke. Yeah. We've got Tango and Dembele, who can't last 60 minutes. You know, Leeds have got a better midfield than us. So have Villa. Villa have got rid of Grealish, brought in Danny Ings, who is a goal machine, brought in Buendia, who, when he was at Norwich, was one of the best playmakers in the league, and brought in the Jamaican winger in I can't remember his name.
Leon Bailey.
Leon Bailey.
Really, yeah.
Do you know
Why
he
are
was
we-
actually raised
why
in
are we not
England?
doing
Or
that?
he just chose to play for Jamaica.
I know it's ridiculous. If I tell you now, right? People, I get a lot of stick for this, but you take Kane and Son out of that team, we're in the bottom 10, and I stand by that.
I think a lot of people feel that. I think a lot of people feel that way. But Kane, quickly, Kane the long shot here with a very generous super chat. And Kane the long shot, love the name as well, by the way. He says, and especially Davo, especially now he's going to be seeing more than them long shots. But Nuno has it right. Either play 100% for the badge and the future or piss off. Nobody should be using us for their fitness or for a paycheck. I will say, Tanguy maybe quickly is using us for, the paycheck, not as much for the fitness. He's definitely not using us for our gym because, we have to practically drag him into it. He's probably just using us for the paycheck and to pay for the burger addiction, Dave. But what do you think, Dave, is it really maybe the case that just Nuno's just almost kind of I don't know what it's kind of just lessen, the squad, just make sure which ones, are for him and which ones aren't. He's just trying to do it quickly.
Look, he's friends with Mourinho and Pochettino, but them all they had to do was tell him who's for the manager, who's not. It seems to be the same players every single time. Look, there's no reason why there's an obvious reason why we've seen the rotation of managers that we have been. Players stop performing, clamoring together, doing this stupid stuff in the media, stop training, complaining, we're not being worked hard enough, or we're being worked too hard. Mourinho's not buttering my balls the way I like it. I'm absolutely fed up with it. I'm fed up with it. Just stop making excuses. You're paid to represent the badge. And in that badge, you're representing the club, the area, and the fans from all over the world. Now get out there and do your job. In fact, it's not a difficult job. It's a job you should feel privileged to be doing. Mm-hmm. Whether you're playing at the bottom end of the Premier League or the top end of the Premier League, you should feel privileged to get out and represent the club. Now look, over the years, with the money that's come into the game, clubs have kind of lost power over players, unlike what it used to be, and players can kind of, get away with a lot more. But at the end of the day, if you're not for Tottenham Hotspur, get out. There is nothing worse than seeing a player that doesn't put it in, week out. At the end of the day, some of the heroes at Tottenham Hotspur may not be the best technically, but some of them grafted for that badge. They died and bleeded for that badge. And I'm sick of some of these modern day players acting like little, spoiled, overgrown babies. They don't realize how lucky they have it. They're not even allowed to get touched on the pitch anymore. Back in the day, you know what I mean? Some of the players were getting clattered left, right, and centre. And these guys think they have worries. I'm sick of all these excuses about their mind state and everything else. In a normal world, I'd say, okay. But at the end of the day, they have the club, they have the PFA association, everything else, and all the money to put everything right off the pitch, to get them perform on the pitch for 90 minutes. We're not asking for much. Even if we lose, right, I can take losing. But lose with some dignity, some passion, and some fucking fight. Not like what we've seen last season. I can't bear it anymore. And there's too many players in this squad that just do not care and have to get out. They don't love the club the way that we do. Even the way that Hugo Lloris does, Harry Kane does, Son does. They don't love the club the way we do. If you don't, get out. Get out.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people just have to adopt, the Nuno philosophy is maybe like Pochettino's. It's like Bielsa's. It's like a lot of them where, you either ride with it or you don't. It's really that simple. He can't fit everybody into it. I do like that, he's kind of just, let's say, just siphoning out, so which ones, won't be down for it. But David, maybe moving on here, I'd like to go to you. Do you think maybe now with the Harry Kane renewing the contract, David, do you feel like Nuno, yourself, Davo, Paratici, maybe let's say Levy as well. Do you feel like you guys have now maybe bought yourself a bit more time, maybe to convince Kane, maybe to stay a bit longer than the extra season? Do you feel like maybe this is maybe the chance, to whisper in his ear just a bit longer and just tell him that he should believe in the project ahead?
First of all, I just want to say big up Kane, the long shot. Really appreciate the support, brother. Everyone else, make sure you smash that like and feel free to get the super chat. And the chat is absolutely hopping. It just keeps you to the very front of the queue, guys. So make sure you get the support. And big up Kane, the long shot. Look, on Harry Kane, Jack, let's be honest, I always knew he was staying. I have that special telepathic relationship with the guy. honestly, no one's as big as fan as me, apart from that one guy on TV, actually, maybe at the weekend. I need to find out who he is. He was up there, loving life when Harry Kane came on, so I need to find him. But no, look, for me, it's all good. It's all good for Tottenham Hotspur. At the end of the day, City didn't offer the money. Tottenham are definitely not going to let them go now. You can't get in the replacements in time, then let them gel together and settle in. So at the end of the day, I think the right move was made on all parties. And look, it just gives us that year extra to try and convince him to stay. You look at the Messi situation at Barcelona. Last summer he wanted to go. This summer he actually wanted to stay. Over the year they managed to convince him. And this is what Tottenham Hotspur can do. Look, I don't think Kane probably would have stayed if some of the signings we had didn't come in. Because he's seeing progression in them. You have Romero, this keeper situation is sorted out beyond Lloris. Galini, that means this keeper situation is sorted out beyond Lloris if he signs or not. You got in Romero, 55 million. He's there replacing Toby Alderweireld, whose legs were going. So that's, if you've got Harry Kane, that's a plus. You've got in fresh attacking options in the likes of Bryan Hill. I would say that's a plus. He is going to be a talent, I reckon. And then you also look at Skip and Session coming in. They're new signings, realistically. They weren't around last year. They're new signings, and two of them should have a point to prove and be hungry. So realistic, if you look at it, that's 5 new players, which is competition for 5 more spots in the squad, which is a huge plus. So if you're Harry Kane and you're looking at that and things are going well, plus off the back of the start of the season we've beaten City, we've beaten Wolves, we've kept clean sheets, so we're showing them that we're improving on that aspect of defensively. So now all it shows him is go and get the goals, and maybe we can do something this year. And if not this year, hopefully we do enough to convince him to stay. Next summer you reinvest again, and you go again. It just puts you in a better position. In terms of me being able to keep Harry Kane to stay, look, I'll always do my best. I'll always tweet him. I'll always send him love messages. You know what I mean? I'll always do the Harry Kane hair prediction. Look, I'm just delighted. I cannot wait to see, the wind flowing through his hair, seeing him just trotting around on the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium with the number 10 on his back, and when he scores, just pointing at me, saying, Dave, you're the man. I can't wait for it. I absolutely love this guy. I've been so grumpy and in a bad mood all summer long over this situation. It's really, really, really pissed me off and hurt me. It really has. And now that there's an end to it, man, I cannot stop smiling today. I really can't stop smiling today. Just knowing that we're getting even another year out of him. What more do we want? What more do we want? It gives us more time to try and fix the problem long term as well if he does go next summer.
No, what more could you want? What more could you want? And to you, Henry, do you feel like maybe this is, an extra season? Do you feel like maybe, Henry, I might just, it's a bit of, I guess, a yes or no. Do you feel like Nuno and Paratici could maybe convince Harry, that there's a there's a project, kind of a board, there are kind of things changing at Spurs, there are things happening in the future. Do you think they could convince him, to be, a one club man for Spurs to kind of be the one for us? Do you feel like they can kind of convince him that, the project is worth staying for?
I'm going to upset a lot of people right now, right? And I think the only person that might agree with me is Bob. Harry Kane did not want to stay at Tottenham. Can we just put that out there? He did not want to be here. He does not want to be at the football club.
According to who, Henry?
Why would he go to Sky Sports with Gary Neville saying that he's open to new challenges? And the other thing is, all we keep hearing is let Paratici cook. What has he actually done in the market? We still don't have a right back. We still don't have a centre-back pairing. We still don't have a solid right winger. We still haven't replaced Eriksen. We still don't actually have a DM because Højbjerg's a box-to-box midfielder, and he was a box-to-box midfielder for Denmark. But he does not want to be at this football club, even if you was to give him £500,000 a week, because let's be completely real, we are so far off the top 4, it is beyond a joke, right? Are we realistically going to win a trophy this year? I bet anyone in this stream we won't.
Conference
Conference is the best bet we've got. We're getting the FA Cup, we're going to get Man City or Chelsea, and we're going to get opened up like a stab wound. Right? We're not
already bet them.
we're not in a title race. So why would Harry Kane want to be here? He was in when we were effectively in our glory days under Poch. We were in Champions League finalists. We come second in the league to Chelsea. We come somehow third in the second horse race. That was when we actually had a squad. Alderweireld and Toby at the back. The best fullbacks in the league in Danny Rose and Kyle Walker. Moussa Dembele, who we still technically haven't even replaced. He does not want to be here. He's going to give it all because he's, in my opinion, besides what we've done the last couple of months, he's a true professional. You know, all the way through the pandemic, he wasn't breaking the isolation rules like Foden, like Grealish, like every other person. But at the end of the day, he does not want to be here. Yep. So, and one other thing about Paratici and all the recruit we've done, since Harry Kane has been a first-team starter, can you name one world-class player we've brought through the door who is on Kane's level? Because there isn't one. When we signed Son, he was good at Leverkusen, and then he got to that maybe world-class ilk. When we signed Gareth Bale back, he was absolutely, you know, playing more golf than he was football. Bergwijn, you might as well play with 10 men because he can't. His end product is horrendous. So what have we actually done since Harry Kane's been in the squad?
I would actually say you could have shot a little bit lower there for, you know, saying for players that we could sign, because signing players of Harry Kane's level, I mean, it's a very small room.
Even in the 2015-16 season, who have we brought in? We haven't. What we do is, because
given what you said,
we buy players that have got low stock, like Dele Alli, and then we build them up and sell them on for more. It's an investment fund. That's how it works. But even through Harry Kane wasn't okay. He was a very good striker 2016, 2017, but he's not that elk he is now because he had a very good team around him. Eriksen feeding him the ball every 5 minutes. Now he's got to do it on his own with Son, but we haven't brought anyone in.
Did you honestly expect Paratici to do it all in one window, Henry?
No, I'm not saying do it in a window, but you've had how long? When did the window open? July the 1st? 2 months. 2 months, and I'm getting told that Aouar is not a priority signing. We don't have a midfield. Dele Alli is not a number 10. He's so washed up, it's a joke. Tanguy and Dembele can't last 60 minutes. Lefso, he'll do great. He'll do well in an Argentina shirt because he wants to play. In a Spurs shirt, he's got 1 goal in 40 games. But Harry Winks can't pass the ball. Sissoko is absolutely brain dead. We don't have a midfield. And then the centre-backs, the defence, bar Reguilon, we haven't seen Romero do anything. Has got the football IQ of a goldfish. Davinson Sanchez got made a meme against Man City, and our right back's got a better haircut than his football ability. So, I'm not trying to be negative, Nelly, but our fan base has got to wake up, because if Harry Kane gets injured, be prepared for a mid-table finish.
Isn't it also possible, though, Henry, that you're basing this entirely off of last season's, and basing everything off of last season is a very valid argument to make. This is a different manager. This is a different manager. This is a different system. This is a different fitness level of all the players. So you are exclusively using evidence from
you say a different manager, but both games have been the Jose White style of play.
Certainly not the Man City one.
Can you say, though, Nuno, in his... I've got, believe it or not, I've actually got 2 or 3 Wolves friends I talked to on Twitter. The Wolves, I think they've got 30k subs. And they told me when Nuno was coming, his plan A is very good. Counter-attacking football, he's very direct to the defence. You know, when you had Connor Cody and who's the French centre-back they used to have? The big guy. I can't remember his name. Is Bowley, is it? He said they're very sound. And you got Adama, you had Jota, and you had other players. They're very good on the counter. But when it comes to our plan B, we don't have anything. Now, with the team we've got, can we play that possession-based football?
Sorry, I just want to say we've been drawn Wolves away in the Carabao Cup.
Well, I reckon we'll beat them again. But do we actually have a midfielder who can dominate and control the game? No, we don't. Do we have a playmaker?
No, where are you going, though? That's no offense.
No, for the Nuno style of play, is forever going to be counter-attacking. It's the same as Jose. It's Jose.
But if the counter-attacking worked against Man City, though, I mean,
yeah, but that's how you set up. We've always played counter-attacking. If you go toe-to-toe with Man City, like Arsenal do, you get absolutely slapped around. You have to play counter-attacking.
If it worked, then what's the problem? So, are you trying to say is that maybe against the lesser sides we have to figure out?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Against the lesser sides, are we going to play the same style of play? Because that's what he played against Wolves, and they've got better midfielders. Juan Martinez probably walks into our team. Ruben Neves definitely walks into our team, and he still played that for his 3 years at Wolves, the counter-attacking. I don't personally think that Nuno is the right man for the job. That's just my opinion. When we look at Conte, proven winner, and he didn't come. Ten Hag has the ability to improve younger players and can play the possession style of football. What can Nuno bring to this team? I'd like all of you to answer it, that we haven't already seen under Poch and Jose.
6 points, 2 clean sheets, and an unbeaten start to the season, my man, in the Premier League. That's
also
what
much bigger much bigger scalp list than the likes of Ten Hag as well. Much bigger scalp list against the better teams. That's the thing. That's the thing, Henry, is that in the case of Nuno, maybe you're right against the lesser teams. He seems to play a bit of the same way, and it's a bit frustrating. But then you have to concede that against the bigger teams, there really isn't a better, cheaper manager, against the bigger teams as well. So you also have to consider that Nuno has a much bigger scalp list than any of the managers we were practically looking at, apart from maybe Conte. This guy knows how to play with much smaller sides and beat much bigger sides. And honestly, he's using that.
Would you rather Nuno over Ten Hag?
Well, again, Henry, though, you're kind of covering a ton of topics and a ton of different things. So would I rather have Nuno over Ten Hag?
In general, would you rather over Ten Hag?
I'll let you do the super chats first, Jack.
Go on, get
them out of the way first, mate.
Yeah, Lazy 8 saying the last 2 monologues from David were classic. Was it a rant? Was it a pump up? I don't know, but what? But that's why I love this channel. Thanks, David. I really appreciate that, Nick. I really do appreciate that, Nick. David, you want to say anything to Nick?
Yeah, look, sometimes I just black out when I go on one and just a lot of things come out, and usually it sounds good. So I'm glad you enjoy it, Nick. I'm glad you enjoy it, and I hope you're enjoying your holiday. Let me know if you're back. If you are, get in contact with me, lad, on Twitter. But no, big yourself up, man. I really do appreciate it. Really do appreciate it, my man.
Big up, Lazy 8. Big up, Lazy 8.
Mm-hmm.
Big up, Lazy 8. And then we have one here from Maria Williams as well, Jacko.
Yeah, Maria Williams, also long time no see. It's good to see you as well, Maria Williams. Good to see you. And she says, what you need to understand is that we aren't an oil club in the 90s. We had some great players, and we still didn't achieve much. Interesting. Or is that we aren't an oil club in the 90s? We had some great players, and we didn't achieve much. Bob,
so basically what she's saying is we're not an oil club, and then separate in the 90s we had some great players and we still didn't achieve much.
Yeah, so it's maybe she's just saying that the blank check style of football is basically what you kind of need these days, maybe in order to succeed. And that's maybe it's not in a way we could probably do that considering the funds that we do have available, but that's not the way that we want to do it because for Levy it's not sustainable. But David, what do you think?
Look, do you know what? I actually think Henry makes a lot of great points, right? He does, in fairness, a lot of valid points. Is Nuno the manager we wanted? No. Do we need more? Yes, we do. But look, the point is that Nuno's what's here now. So we're going to have to try and get behind it. We have to try and see what he's doing.
Yeah, you have to work with it.
Again, me personally, where I sit on Paratici is I don't think he can do everything in one window. Did I expect a little bit more? Probably. I expected maybe a bit more, yes. But look, for me, do you know what it is? Look, we just have to get behind it. For me, we just have to get behind it. We have to try and see what we're doing. Look, at the end of the day, when we got rid of Mourinho and everything else, a lot of people, even when they wanted to get rid of Mourinho, they were happy to sit here and go through a new rebuild and a long-term project. More than happy to do with it. So now we just have to sit here and go through it. We have to. At the end of the day, look, you look at Sarr. I wouldn't exactly, and anyone that says, oh, that's 100% a Paratici signing. Not 100%. Chris Perkins was brought in from Derby County. He was at Nottingham, or at Derby. He was at Derby County. He was brought in from Everton. And this guy was brought in to identify the best talent around Europe from 18 to 21 and get them into Tottenham Hotspur and then hopefully start getting them into the first team from there. So I would say that one's on him. In terms of, look, the goalkeeper situation, like I said, I think that was a good deal. We don't pay for it for another 2 years. Gil, we paid 20 million, fair enough. Romero, you don't even pay till next year. So for me, I think he's actually had a good window. It does leave us with money to play around with for the next 6 days. Let's see what happens. Look, bringing in superstars doesn't always work. Arsenal are shelling out a fortune on contracts right now. They can't even get them to run about. They can't even get them to do the basics. You know what I mean? One of them was sitting there playing Fortnite for 3 years. You know what I mean? And he was on like £500,000 a week. Do you know what I mean? It's absolutely ridiculous, lad. So for me, you have to strike that fine balance. I do believe maybe if we could get in a world-class midfielder, that would really help us out, I do believe. And then just fill in the positions around there. Look, just let's see what the window has to offer over the next few days. That's what I'm going to do before I sit there and comment on anything anyway. That's just me. I called for a Paratici. I called for a director of football. Now I have to sit here and see what the results yield.
Yeah, we got to stick by it. As simple as that. It wasn't a rant.
I think everyone agrees with you, Henry. It's just maybe you kind of, throwing, in a sense, like points that no one can necessarily, because we could say the same thing to you. It's kind of things a bit out of our control. So maybe what we do from here is we ask the questions with what we're working with. How can we maybe best achieve? And, everyone might agree with you. Maybe Ten Hag is the best, but, no offense, maybe that was 4 months ago, 5 months ago, we are working with Nuno, so. Yeah.
You're right. We've got to work with what we've got to work with, but with 6 days left in the window, you got to.
It's a bit late to maybe argue about the manager, I guess is what I maybe might be arguing. Is we got to work with what Nuno has, and Nuno has gotten six points from maybe what we might argue also being maybe shit players, and not a lot of investment. So we have to back them, and we can't just say like bring in Ten Hag already. So it's. I guess
I'm not saying bring in Ten Hag. I'm just saying for the managers we were looking at, Nuno probably wasn't your top 3 choice, was he?
No, he wasn't. But we established that, like I said, 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah, we got to stick. Well, what to stick with is see how we get on. But yeah, we move on. You got another super chat.
Yeah. Anyway, we've got another 3 to get through, and then we're going to let Bob in because Bob has stuff to say. So Jack, take it away. You just take this one, and then we'll get on to the next couple.
He says Dark Sun G saying, guys, Carabao Cup is against Wolves away. Really, that's going to be interesting again. Is it going to be at the Molineux? Yeah. So I said it's away, so it's at the Molineux again. If Nuno were to be able to pull off another clean sheet, against his former club, that'd be quite classy. I could say again, I'd take another 1-0, personally, but I know it is a bit, difficult for the heart rates. But Alex saying, David, he's been in the comments. I don't know what to say. David, maybe you have to take this one.
Yeah, look, I will organise for you to debate me and Henry, my man. So I will. Look, I'll be honest. My job was made easier last week. I didn't even think you wanted a debate after Thursday night, to be honest with you. But look, if you still want the Winks debate after Thursday night, look, let's do it, my man. Let's do it. I thought you chickened out because I didn't get any messages off you during the week, to say you were still up for it. And
funny, Dave. He seems to go silent until the moment you go live, and then he just seems to be in the comments immediately. It is a bit, coincidental.
But big up, Alex. And look, it's not even me, proving you wrong about Winks. It's himself doing it. So I'd be angry at him, not me, Alex. That's what I said. But big up for the support, my man.
And then Ellie Cockrata saying, Jack, for the West Ham fund, I think we've made a huge dent in it like so quickly. And I honestly really forgot about it. We really did. So I really do appreciate you, Ellie, for starting it up again. Really do appreciate you. Also appreciate you, Ellie, for, also maybe helping me out in terms of, maybe figuring out some of the nights, in London, and where the cheaper places to stay are and et cetera as well. And also, maybe figuring out, how to get to the players early, maybe see a training session. She's really trying to give me the full Spurs tour. So I really appreciate it, Ellie. As always, really do appreciate it.
Yeah, big up, Ellie. Absolute channel legend. Thank you so much for the support. Really do appreciate it. Really do appreciate it. And look, I hope you're enjoying your new job and stuff like that, and enjoyed your time away for the last day or two as well.
Busy for sure.
Yeah. Big up, Ellie. Really, really appreciate it. You're too kind. You're way too kind. And Dark Sun G says Carabao Cup, Man U versus West Ham, Chelsea versus Aston Villa. Yeah, that's nice. That's 2 Premier League teams gone out nice and early. Hopefully after that, I presume, Chelsea probably will beat Villa, United probably will beat West Ham. So hopefully then they play each other and cancel them out again in the next round. And so on.
When is the next round? When is it? Is it a couple of weeks' time in the next round, or is it?
I think so, mate. I think it's, Normally it's about 2 to 3 weeks, isn't it, after the draw?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, after the international break.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So look, we look forward to it, Dark Sun G. And look, any stats for me? Let me know. Dark Sun G. I really appreciate the stats. I do, man. But look, Bob did want to come in, so let's. I
was going to say, same question to you. From earlier. Bob, same question to you now. Do you think Nuno and Partici maybe will have enough time, resources, maybe even the power of convincing against Kane? Will they be able to convince them, with whatever they need, resources, time, maybe a bit of charisma? Do you think they have enough to do it, or is it also maybe Kane's a bit too smart? What do you think?
No, they have to. There's no point. First of all, go get a one. Try not to be personal, buddy. It's you don't want a certain individual on, that's fine, but he's not called you a name, so please don't start calling bozo, etc. There's no need for that.
I didn't see that. Sorry, Bob. Thanks for pointing that
out.
No,
it's fine. It's not being malicious or anything. I think He's just putting. I just don't
starting to get personal.
There's any need for it. Yeah, there's no need for it.
Thank you, Bob.
We're all big family here, matey. So try not to get personal. There's no point of keeping Kane, or left with Kane if we're not gonna if we're not gonna build on it. We have to build around Kane. We can't shy away from it. He is our best player. He is one of the best strikers in the world. We're lucky to have someone of his quality in our team, and we have to buy around him. And I disagree to an extent. A signing of a goalie on loan, a 20-year-old we had to Google, and Romero, who we don't know how it's going to work out. I love him. I've been on about him since October. But just a Romero signing, in the past we've brought Sanchez in. Yes, how it's all turned out is all hindsight. But we have got the odd big player in. We brought in an Dembele in. These three aren't going to wouldn't have made Kane think, you know what, we changed it. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. And if we look at it, our team is weaker. Right now, our team is weaker than what it was when we finished last season. For every heart we've lost, we've brought a Galini in. For every Romelo, we've brought an untrusted Gil in. For every experienced Toby, we've been an inexperienced Romero in. But where's the Vinicius goals? Where's the Bale goals? Where's we've got Ndembele wanting to leave. Winks is no good. Sissoko's wanting to leave. Or as a squad, we're much, much weaker. So there is absolutely no way Harry Kane is looking at the team and the squad thinking, you know what? Yeah, I want to stay.
He hasn't seen more problems be solved. Yeah.
No, I think it's going to be a case of sitting down with Paratici, having that conversation. I think something was said. He was impressed with the vision that Paratici has given him. Unfortunately, in my eyes, there's still the same person still signing the checks. This transfer window could have been under a Hitchin. This transfer window could have been. Everyone's bigging up to Paratici for having the Romero deal. He couldn't do anything but to get him on loan. We couldn't buy him legally. The only option was to have him on loan till Jan and then buy him. He could not be bought. So there's no big up there with regards to that. Well done for convincing him. And maybe there is that link there that, but like I say, Hitchens managed to bring a record signing in Dembele and Sanchez out. Yes, we can look at it now in hindsight and say, but when they were signed, we were all bigging it up. So I don't think the Preds should take any accolades because he's of the structure of the Romero deal, because there was no other option. We could not legally buy him because he's already been transferred twice in the season. So, but like I say, it's up to us, Paratici, Daniel Levy, to convince Kane that he needs to stay beyond this summer. We need to make sure that at the end of the summer, he does a Messi and turn around and say, you know what? I can see the vision now. I can see it. We've kicked on. Levy spent money. Paratici's become a Don. I don't expect that many players in. Of course I don't. But if Kane's allegedly sat down with Paratici and is giving him a vision, then brilliant. Let's see it put into place. My concern is that we seem to be, again, Dave knows, we're linked with I think last account, 5,784 players this summer, and we've just bought in the 3. It's all very well being linked. I don't even read about any of the players. When a link comes through on Twitter, I don't even read it. I don't know anything about Saar.
Pretty sure you might be the only man, in the world, Bob, that has Fabrizio Romano muted, probably, and blocked. Well,
he did.
On Twitter.
He did also warn us about his
No. I don't. No. If it's something concrete, then fantastic. But right now, mate, we've been linked to 10 players today. Traore, Tomiyasu. Have we signed Tomiyasu yet? So there's no fault. That's the media circus for you. But right now, I'm more. The whole concentration should be improving that first team. I don't care about the future.
I agree.
We've got plenty of players for the future, man. We've got a Scala, we've got a Regulon, we've got a Romero, we've got Højbjerg, we've got a Bergwijn, we've got a Skip, all under 25. These are my solid players for the future. I can see a future of Tottenham Hotspur. Right now, that first team needs to be sorted. If we are losing first team players, and we don't know, they're not even being linked, but we need to strengthen that first team. That's the only one I'm interested in. With all due respect, I couldn't give a shit about Saar. I mean that,
Yeah.
and he might turn out to be the next
An absolute player, though.
But right now, yeah, absolutely brilliant. But right now, it's the first team we need to get sorted: the defence, central midfield, and the striker. Are we going to get him before the end of the window? Of course not. And when my qualms about Paratici giving the Don title, and I kept having to keep on explaining this, it's not Paratici I've got an issue with. It's the fan base who are prematurely giving him the Don title, knowing full well that there's a Mr. Levy still signing the checks. Mr. Levy is the only person who's going to give him that title, done by doing what he hasn't done and investing in the proper players. So right now, Paratici is reliant on a Levy, making sure he's signing those checks more frequent on quality players. So right now, unfortunately, it's not worked that way. But fingers crossed, I want him to be a Don. With that reputation he's come in, I think he's got every chance. But unfortunately, there is that twat who's still signing the checks. And that's where my concern is.
I know what you mean, Bob, considering, I do have, the Don to my right here, and, we don't want to, just give everybody the Don title. I do see where you're coming from. We should be using it a bit more sparingly.
Just out of curiosity, Bob, now I genuinely can't remember that. I can't even remember yesterday, my brain's like, but were you alongside me calling for a director of football?
Yeah, we all were.
Yeah, we all were.
Would you not think then that we should give him a chance? Because even though we called for a director of football, we all knew Levy was still going to sign the checks regardless.
Yeah, but
it's not new.
I just think the fan base needs to calm down, mate. They're concentrating on this name so much that they're forgetting who's signing the checks. I don't blame Paratici. I want him to become the Don. But right now, mate, you cannot tell me that this doesn't stink of a Levy transfer window so far. Don't tell me, apart from the links, the links that we've had so far, this is a Levy transfer window, mate. And that's what worries me. That's what worries me. Until Levy actually starts signing those, it's all very well being linked, Dave. You know what my feelings
are. Bob, that's what the whole transfer window is about. Every club's linked to thousands of players every transfer window.
I disagree.
That's what the whole transfer market was built on rumours. Not only the Tottenham. Hear me out. Sky Sports make up stuff to be able to get people to go on to Sky Bet, to get people to tune in. Agents make up stuff to be able to do what they do on YouTube and to be able to create a business for themselves. Papers also get involved on it. Half of them rumours may not even be Tottenham. Putting them out. The thing is, my point is, right, there's no point in sitting here complaining about the transfer window. Complaining about the players we got in, yes, but complaining about the links and everything. It's the transfer window. It happens every summer, and it always has happened. Every single summer. So there's no point in complaining about the transfer window. We all know what it is.
No other club has been linked with so many players this window, Dave. I'll fight you on that, mate. No other club.
Maybe not this window, but every club has their turn. It was United last summer. It was City a couple of summers ago. Every club has their turn in the transfer window being linked. I'm just saying, I can understand complaining about the signings we got in. I understand that.
I'm not
complaining about the business of the transfer window. I don't understand, because it happens every year. There's always one club that's always linked with this player, that player, and it's always the club that needs a rebuild. It always is. There's no point in complaining about the links when that's the business and that's the transfer window. It's been like that for decades.
It is when you're linked, Dave, and you're not bringing any of them in.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
But isn't that, Bob, quickly, Bob,
coming from Tottenham.
Quickly, Bob, isn't this what we envisioned?
Agents, everything else. It's not always Tottenham's fault.
Bob, can I ask you maybe just on the same topic, Bob? I think it's really on the same topic, but didn't we envision, maybe because of, the pandemic, given, the Levy, propaganda video that we were even given as well, we kind of all were fearing the worst. We all kind of were maybe 4 or 5 months ago, if we take us back there. I feel like, on the same show, we were kind of, fearing the worst. We were all saying, some were even going, no signings will come in, given what Levy said and what the pandemic said. And I do think this has been not a great window. This has not been a great window, but I would maybe urge to say, isn't it kind of maybe what we anticipated or maybe envisioned? And maybe Henry, get your thoughts as well. After Bob.
But I just think sometimes there's a bit of a hypocrisy comes out. We can't in one breath say, Paratici's done absolutely brilliant and he's doing okay, right. and we're happy with the transfer window, but we at the same time we need the strengthening of that first team squad. The fact is, and we talk about facts. Forget the rumours. I should be expecting right now with 5 days left to the transfer window, and let's be honest, 2 working days. We've got the weekend and bank holiday, so 3 days, whatever, of the window left. I should, as a Tottenham Hotspur supporter, should not be expecting my team to be weaker right now than what it was at the end of last season. I should not be expecting that. I should not be happy with that. So,
how are we weaker?
Sorry?
Bob's spot on.
Yeah, but I'm asking, how are we weaker?
Because we've lost goals everywhere. We've lost Bauer's goals. We've lost Vinicius' goals in the Europa League. We've lost our leader at the back in all.
We really counted Vinicius' goals in the Europa League against Farmers.
He can only play what he's up against.
No, but let's be honest. No, because I'll be honest. Sometimes that sounds like, are we really counting Vinicius? He played 2 games in the Premier League off the bench. Are we really counting Vinicius' goals in the Europa League? Honest, try Parrot.
Remember, as a striking option, Dave. Yeah, we haven't got a striking option.
We only have one
option was he when the manager didn't trust him because he wasn't good enough anyway, and that's why he only played.
That's a number, isn't it? That's an extra striking number, and we're talking about a different manager. You can't have it both ways.
I'll be honest. I think there's things being manipulated to suit part.
No. It's a fact, though. How can you deny a fact?
Do
we have a backup? Do we have a backup striker who with Vinicius' experience? Do we have that?
Vinicius
didn't have much experience prior to.
Right, with experience.
Yeah, he barely any experience. Vinicius, the reason why we didn't take.
He's coming off one good season in Portugal.
Do we have one? Have we replaced him? Don't say Scarlett, because you know that full well that's not a direct replacement.
I'm not going to say Scarlett. Son can fill in up there.
Oh mate, come on, man.
Hang on. People have been saying that for the last 3-4 weeks when supposedly Harry Kane wanted out. Hang on, let me speak. Right. So you're saying now that's nonsense, but then for the last 2 months, everyone was saying, sell Harry Kane. Some will take the goal, some will go front and do this. So you can't, again, there's hypocrisy there. You can't say Son is going to fill the fight, get rid of Harry Kane. And as soon as Harry Kane stays, say, there's no other option. Like you can't have it both ways. I agree. I do think we need a backup striker. But everyone knows Carlos Vinicius for me was never the answer last season, and loads of people said that. So now to say that he is the answer and that we're missing the answer, that and the other.
No, Dave, you're turning it all around to suit you now. You know you can't fire it out and then.
I'm just saying. You're the one complaining about transfer rumours, even though it's a transfer market.
We've lost the body. No. I'm pissed off with it. That's my opinion. The fact is, we've not replaced a squad member, a striker who's not in the squad. We've not replaced him. We've not replaced a Bale, a squad member. So factually, as a squad numbers, we are weaker. We've got Dembele who wants to leave. We want Winks out the door, rightly so. Aurea wants to leave. Sissoko wants to leave. Just putting these players. They didn't want to leave last season. They were shit. But as squad numbers, we are weaker, and that is a fact.
We're not weaker.
Henry, why is our squad maybe weaker this season than it was last season?
I'm not going to rant, but personally, I think Bob's right. Look at it, right? Since the first game of the season, our squad is weaker. Harry Kane, we don't know if he's coming or going. Ndombele, I'll argue with anyone, he is our most talented midfielder when fit. However, he can't last. We've lost 13 Premier League goals with Gareth Bale, right? We've lost Carlos Vinicius as a striker in the squad. We've lost, who else have we lost? Alderweireld, who, he doesn't have the pace anymore, but he was our best defender. He's been our best defender besides Jan Vertonghen the last decade. We are weaker as a squad. We don't have a certified right back at the moment. We're playing Tanganga right back because the 2 right backs we've got are absolutely useless. We don't have a
manager to work magic with them last season.
Yeah, you're both right to a degree.
We expected a manager to work wonders with them last season, and now all of a sudden, they're just. No, you're
taking off subject.
I'm not taking off subject.
Numbers in the squad, we're weaker.
Yeah, but I'm asking. Yeah, that's your opinion, but I'm also asking questions.
It's a fact.
You stated your opinion a number of times. It's not a fact. It's a fact to you. It's your opinion. It's your opinion. It's not a fact. It's your opinion. It's a fact.
Look at the squad numbers and tell me it's not a fact. That's all I'm going to say.
How is it a fact? Give me stuff that makes it a fact. Or is it your opinion or is it a fact?
Can I?
The fact that you guys are both right, though. You guys are both right in the sense that Vinicius scored 13 goals, but then that's a fact. But then David's also right that those 13 goals came from all games outside of the Premier League. They came in cup competitions where you would expect anyone to score.
Goals with Vinicius a minute ago. People were.
Can I finish?
I'm not saying Vinicius is. I'm not calling Vinicius a Messi. I'm not calling Vinicius a Messi. I expect I'm going to stop calling him Paratici. I expect my board, because it's nothing to do with Paratici. Because everyone going, give him a chance, give him a chance. Fucking listen to the conversation before you start saying it's nothing to do with Paratici because the board is signing his check. So I'm going to put Paratici out of it. I expect my board of my football club to have us in at least the same position as last season, whereas now, officially, factually, we have less squad members than what we did at the end of last season.
Okay.
Right. You are both right to a degree.
I agree with David. Sorry, go.
We have lost goals in the team. You can't argue that. Gareth Bale and Vinicius brought nearly 30 goals between them, right? I think it was more than 30 goals. So we have lost goals. However, we've also got Sessegnon back in the squad. We've also got Skip back in the squad. So we have got numbers in there. They're just not as experienced as the personnel we had. The point that Bob's making is with people don't realise with Paratici, as how it's actually pronounced, believe it or not, I got ripped by an Italian fan. He is responsible for the football inside of the club. So he has the scouting network, and all of his scouts, by 8 scouts, are all in Italy. So that's why we're getting it with Damsgaard. That's why we're getting it with Milinkovic. That's why we're looking at Lautaro Martinez. That's why we were looking at Romero because he was in that league. You know, he was with Conte for 3 years with Juventus. He's in that league, so he's trying to get players in. But Bobby's right to a degree. We are weaker. You haven't got to be a rocket scientist to see that we don't have, besides Son, we don't have a winger that can actually shoot. Do we? Let's be real. Do we have a winger that can actually shoot? Well, Gareth Bale could, and he was washed up. He got a brace against.
But people then defend Bergwijn.
He can't. Bergwijn. I don't care what anyone says. Bergwijn is trash.
No, that is an opinion. That is an opinion.
Yeah, this is my opinion. Bergwijn is trash. He got 1 goal all of last season. Right, he is absolutely awful. He was played as a defensive wing back. Every time he gets into the position, he's firing blanks. Because let's be real. Does anyone? But do either of you actually rate Bergwijn?
Yeah, I do.
I don't.
Yeah, I've always have, and Dave knows this. But for me, that's an opinion. I will never fight an opinion. Dave knows this. For me, Bergwijn, I see potential in Bergwijn. A lot of people don't.
I see potential in it. 100%.
And it's a case of with him. If we can give the likes of, I don't know, some other shit players time. Bergwijn for me has improved this season. I think there's potential there. I think it works great in that first 3, but he needs to do so much more. He needs to do so much more. For me, he's got till at least Jan. And if he's doing, I said this today before, if he's doing nothing till Jan, slap him on the transfer list. But for me, I think he needs till Jan to prove himself. And so far, so good.
I'll tell you also why our squad is weaker, just quickly, because Dele Alli's back in the team. I'm sick and tired of hearing this Dele Alli revival. Oh, he's back. Let's do the little celebration. Let's all get our penises out. The guy's finished. The guy's washed up. You're not going to get 16, 17 Dele Alli anymore. He's lost his pace. He's not the same player. Wake up.
By doing that, though, Henry, aren't you kind of pointing the finger at Nuno? For me, mate, we were willing to accept Fonseca in. Yeah, me and Dave have done streams and Jack have done streams on Fonseca.
Me as well.
We were at the point where we're going to welcome him, weren't we, Dave? Jack?
Yeah,
we were ready to accept him with open arms. And I'll tell you what, I'd take a Nuno over Fonseca any day. For me, 100%. The guy's not even been here 2 months. I'm right behind Nuno. The only reason I take a Traore is because of Nuno. I personally think he's shit, but I trust Nuno. And if he thinks he can come in and make a difference, so be it. And I think Nuno will get the best out of a Bergwijn. That's probably why I'm more of a Bergwijn. And I also think maybe, just maybe, and because we've seen Dele Alli at his peak, it's probably a bit hard for us to let go of him because it's like, we've seen the best of a girlfriend and we just hope she gets back to that. Because we've seen the best of Dele Alli, we all kind of hope he gets back to that. And maybe Nuno's the man. It's just that we've not given that Nuno identity to get onto that squad. And I personally disagree with regards to our performance against Man City, the £500 million squad or £1 billion pound squad we had in the first game. Mate, we had them on the back foot in the second half. We were the better team.
Different than the last season.
We were the better team in that second half. Yeah. We had them on the back foot against Wolves.
I agree.
Taking all the all the scenario, all the circumstances into consideration, I thought it was a brilliant one. You look at the highlights of that Tottenham v Wolves, we had all the chances. They had one which Dyer fucked up on. Apart from that, we had 2, 3, 4 gilt-edged chances. So far, so good. I'm willing to give Nuno a chance. But my qualms with the board, strengthen that fucking first team squad because we need fucking players and get it sorted quickly. Let's see if it does. Let's see what
Totally agree, Bob. Just quickly.
Super chats here.
Yeah, I was just going to say, get to the super chats. Thank you, Davey. Maybe
Alex,
you want to respond to this one, Alex? Or maybe you want to respond to Alex, Dave?
Look, honestly, there's delusional. Look, one thing that is a fact is I destroy Alex in a debate. That is a fact.
What is Alex? What is this debate? Is this about Harry Winks?
Yeah, it's about Harry Winks.
There isn't even a debate. The guy's got everything with Mark Noble. Mark Noble's got a better footballing IQ than this clown.
He's got a fetish for him, Henry. He's got a fetish for him. You can't argue when someone's got, when someone's a Winks-sexual, you can't really, once they go that far down the deep end, you can't really argue with them. You can't reason with that. But, David somehow will. David, tune in next week because David will. But yeah, Alex, maybe respond to the messages ahead of time.
He will.
Maybe respond to David's messages, before maybe coming into the chat, for it. But appreciate though the support, Alex. Do appreciate the support.
He's still got a nice smile though. He's still got a nice smile.
He wins in the smile. Yeah, every season wins and smile. But Dark Sun G saying, Bob, did you know that quality? Did you know about quality over quantity? Hashtag doesn't matter. Don't matter. Bob, any response to maybe, the fact that we have maybe more quality than quantity now?
I hope so. And the likes of Gil and Romero and Galini, I'm never, and you will never see me talk about, and Dembele, what a waste of money, or a Sanchez, because it's all hindsight. When they were signed, we were all excited. You just never know how a player's going to turn out. For me, it just hasn't worked out. I'll never say they're a waste of money because we just don't know. And we don't know about these people, these Gil and Romero and Galini. We just don't know how they're going to turn out. What I want is, unfortunately, where we are right now, hope it doesn't go down the line of quality over quantity right now, because we're so desperate, or ideally want numbers in our squad, that we don't go down the quality matter rather than quantity. Quantity matter. We just get the numbers in for the sake of it, because Darkson's absolutely, Darkson is spot on. We need quality. We need quality, and I just hope with the last few days left, we don't go for the bargain basement as we normally do, because we don't need that. We don't need that.
Definitely, Bob. But Dark Sun G, really do appreciate it as always, and as well, Dark Sun G, good for putting your foot in there. In terms of the debate as well. Appreciate that, Dark Sun G. Thanks for listening. And Stefan Blois here saying, "I'll give you a reason why we're stronger this season. The players are playing for a manager they believe in, and long may that continue." That's hard to argue with. I would say, 100%. Maybe a bit of an emotional fact there that you can't really argue with. I would say, I think that's very evident that, there seems to be a very, very strong squad unity. What's a bit funny maybe, and Henry, maybe you can take this with me quickly. Do you feel like maybe the squad unity is just like a very small squad unity though? It's almost like a 14, 15 person squad that's all very, cohesive. They're all lovey-dovey with each other. And then there just seems to be a very, let's say, not many people let in, let's say, outside of that. It's a very small circle, you might say.
Yeah, it's a similar situation to what you had at Wolves. He used like the same 15, 16 players that whole season when they were in the Europa League. But let's not remember, we started off very well with Mourinho. We were top of the league. We slapped Man United 6-1. There was a unity then. We were actually all debating, can we win the league title? Like, all I'm saying is, like, he's doing very well, but let's give it a little bit of time. Let's not all jump on the brigade of we trust in Nuno. It's been 2 games. Let's get through like the Chelsea and Arsenal game where it's tough games and you've got the Conference League and the League Cup floating around and squad rotation is going to be key. Like, I'm all for it. I want Nuno to do well. I'm a fan of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Of course I want him to do well. But these players are the same players that let Mourinho down. They're the same players that let Pochettino down and Mason. So just remember, a good chunk of these players are average at best.
All right. There you go. But Stefan Blois, I do definitely agree with you. And I will say, I will say the squad unity is very different this season. I think it's just different this season, but agree to disagree, as David maybe said is his favorite line. But really do appreciate it, Stefan Blois. Good to see you as well. I feel like, we've missed you for a while, so it's good to have you back, Stefan Blois. It's good to see you. And Will Stewart saying, Jack, as a matter of fact, not all of Vinicius' goals came outside of the Prem. He scored one in the Prem. I remember, it was a decent tap in, actually. We'll say, he had a bit of wit about him. I think it was with his left foot, or maybe it was his right foot. It was hard to remember. Might have been Villa. It was Villa. Good memory there. Good trivia there. But there you go, Bob. I was wrong. I was wrong, Bob. So I apologize.
Again, for someone of Will's intellect, we've got 3-digit IQ numbers. For him to get the my debate wrong, shame on you, Will. Shame on you.
Really appreciate the support, Will. Appreciate the support. Also appreciate the support in every way, Will. Really do. But guys, we're still on. Harry Kane. As a matter of fact, maybe you forgot that you were. But with Harry Kane, do you guys feel like maybe considering this saga, considering this drama that we've been speaking about, so much surrounding the club, do you feel like this might, be a real test to his professionalism now? Or do you feel like, it's Harry Kane, he's going to perform to the same heights that he did last season? Dave, what do you think?
Look, I'll be honest with you. Look, even people wanted to sell Harry Kane this summer. We're going on about squad strength, this, that, and the other. People were telling me, let's sell the guy. Now, you're taking out the most goals and the most assists out of the team. And people want to sell this guy, and we're sitting here talking about squad strength. What are we on as a fan base? Let's be honest. Let's be honest about what are we on. It was absolutely nonsense trying to sell this guy. 100%. People saying, just get him gone, just get him gone. You're taking out your goals and assists. You're taking out your creativity and your finisher. You just don't do it. You just don't do it. Look, for me, there's no reason why he can't reach the heights of last season. Everyone is saying, he's not going to perform for the club and all. Again, all the nonsense. There's a World Cup round the corner. And at the end of the day, whether people like it or not, and whether they want to accept it or not, he loves Tottenham Hotspur. He loves the club. He does love it. He's been here for how long? He's how many loan spells did he go out on to get in here? 8, I think it was 8 or 9 to get into the first team. All the effort, all the extra training he's done. This guy eats, sleeps, and breathes Tottenham. Now, we have a problem with Levy in the direction we're going in, similar to Harry Kane. But is it going to affect his performance on the pitch? Hell no. The guy's as professional as. He's one of the most professional people you'll ever meet. He lives his life right off the pitch. He's still going to train. He's still going to go out there and give it his all for Tottenham. At the end of the day, even if he does want his move now, and he is here for the year, he has to score the goals to be able to get that move. Yeah, so everything is there to say that, he should hit the heights that he did last season. The only thing that might be a bit different is, will the assist stay the same or not? Because we are attacking a bit differently now under Nuno. So, we all know that him and Son had that special relationship under Jose and the way the system was set up and all. So that might be a little bit different. But I don't see any reason why he can't hit the heights he did last season, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I definitely agree. If he were to even build remotely off of what he did last season, again, only so many players can finish, top of the goal scoring charts and then top of the assists as well. It doesn't happen very often, and it's the sign of a true king of the Premier League. But weirdly, again, the bias against Kane even goes to the stats as well. They didn't want to give it to him then. But moving on to this chat, I think it's super chat here from Aston Lambert. He's saying, if we do get Adama, will he get a starting place? No, I feel like he would be more of a super sub for me personally. Yeah. I think he'd be someone to kind of come on and change the game. Maybe even someone to, practically just run the defenders dry, where they, just start, practically not wanting to track back. He'd be that type of player for me. And as well, maybe he'd be an improvement on Doherty, maybe in like kind of a right wing back position, because he did used to do that sometimes for Wolves. But yeah, David, what do you think quickly?
No, I don't
get a starting place.
Look, it'd be a toss-up for the right-hand side if he does come in. Look, if Kane comes back in, Son's going out to the left, so it's a toss-up on the right. He's going to have to prove he can do what Lucas is doing, only better. It's clear to see that Lucas is Nuno's main man on the right-hand side. And just quickly, everybody, make sure you smash a like. There's over 300 people watching right now. Make sure you smash that like button, guys. Anyone new to the channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button. These debates are always fiery like this. This is what we love. And this is what we expected when we have us three on a panel. This is what it's all about. If we all agreed, it would be a boring place. So make sure you do smash that subscribe button. And guys, I'm going to be honest with you. The chat is absolutely hopping. You guys can see it yourself. If you do want to skip the chat, get in your super chat, guys. Get your questions, thoughts,
100%.
opinions in. Whether you agree, disagree, whatever, it doesn't matter. Get your opinions in, guys, and let's debate them. And we already have one in straight away, straight off the bat. Big up, Faz Radfar.
Big up, Faz Radfar. Really do appreciate it. Always love seeing you, Faz. Thank you for joining us, Faz. And he's saying not defending Ndombele, but his problem started again after Mason left him out of the cup final for Winks. Levy also be blamed for sacking Jose before the final. I would say maybe, and then I would let maybe David take the second part. I would say with the first part, I kind of agree with that kind of thing where, Tanguy was on a good spell of form, under Jose, clearly, even was being asked to play kind of position that wasn't as comfortable for him. And then once, Jose was sacked, Mason immediately kind of started playing, his friends, playing the fraternity brothers, and kind of just, left Tanguy out to dry. So you do kind of think about it that way. It probably did get to Tanguy's, kind of his emotional sake, but at the same time, he is a bit of a fragile person. So, Dave, what do you think about this part of the super chat? Maybe the next part, or even what I just said?
Yeah, but look, I get what you're saying, but he's the one that's causing the problems. No one else. Nuno come in. All he has to do is put his head down, work hard like he's paid to do, and put himself in Nuno's plans.
Yeah, he could definitely win over Nuno. Yeah, he doesn't have to sulk over Mason. You're actually right. That's a good point.
Even if Nuno comes to him and says, "Look, do you want to play for Tottenham?" And all he has to do is say, yeah. You know what I mean? And then Nuno will work with him. There's obviously something going on. No one knows what's going on. But there's problems behind the scene. And at the end of the day, it's down to Ndombele's attitude. He had 2 years in England where he wasn't fit. That's on him again. So there's no more excuses we can't really make for the guy. At the end of the day, that's the least you expect from a professional footballer. And look, I'll be honest with you. I'd be hugely pissed off if I was left out for Harry Winks in the Carabao Cup final. I would be. Oh, I would be annoyed, but look, there's a new manager coming, Nuno. So put it out of your mind. You really want to play in that final, Go out there on the pitch, prove it, and get us back to another final, and then get your chance again. So for me, look, it's all on Ndombele. It's all on Ndombele, really.
Yeah, really do agree with you. But Faz Radfar.
Bob had his finger up.
Oh, sorry, Bob. I didn't see that. Yeah, Bob.
Yeah, sorry, mate. I think it's just piss poor mentality from an Ndombele. Fucking hell, you've been left out of a fucking final squad and you want to cry like a little fucking baby and want to leave the squad.
Yeah.
Fucking get over it. You can't sit here. We can't sit here and question Bergwijn's mentality after those misses against Liverpool and him getting racist abuse on social media constantly, being left out the squad because of it, getting shit housed by fans left, right, and centre, and give him shit about his mentality because poor little Ndombele has been picked for a fucking final, one game. I don't care what kind of fucking performance. You want to throw your toys at your fucking pram with 200k on your by side? What a pussy, man! Get the fuck out of my club. Fucking grow up, man.
Wow.
Big old Faz Radfar. I really appreciate it.
I do. I mean, you guys absolutely teamed up on that one. I really appreciate it. It brought me, enlightened me a bit, maybe especially Bob in that point, with how tough I am on Bergwijn. Very, very, very true, Bob. Very, very true. Aston Lambert saying, if that's the case, 40 million for a super sub, it is a bit expensive, but he is a quality player. If he does get his finishing better, then he can be an amazing player. Come on, you Spurs. Yeah, this is the thing. I kind of maybe never do mention the fact that if it were for 40 million, I would never, ever, ever even go near Adama Traore. I was kind of thinking maybe if for a reasonable price for me would probably be 15 to 20 million, I would probably pay for Adama. But again, I don't think Wolves would ever take that. So that's probably why, it shouldn't really be a real rumor. But I do hopefully, we don't pay that price, because if we pay 40 million for him, that would be really sad, especially if all we were using him for would be a super sub. That would be quite sad. And I don't see Adama really getting much better, even if he were surrounded by better players. I really don't see, his quality maybe, let's say, improving much from there. But David, what do you think on Aston's comment here?
Yeah, I agree. Look, I'll be honest. I don't want to be paying 40 million for Traore. I think we'll be written off. I get it. He's a different option, But look, I agree with you, Jack. I actually don't think he will be, any better around better players. Because at the end of the day, you can already get the ball and run from one pitch to the other with it. And no one's doubting that. That's world class to be able to do that. Pace, power, strength, skin your players. And then it comes in the final third. It's the 1-2s. It's the intricate stuff. The little ball across the box. The cross into a man's head. Striking the ball cleanly. Getting your shot on target. That all goes out the window. So if you're going to get someone to run up and down the wing, just pay Usain Bolt. He's out there doing nothing. Get him to run up and down the wing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm sick of getting in wingers that can do all the running. I get it. But I expect that from any player we get in to do running. But what I do expect is quality. And for me, Adama Traore is Emperor lacks it. So, look, if you were to get him in for a cut price fee, 20, 25 million, for a different option off the bench, come the bigger games against the City of Chelsea, you know, where he can get you up the field, okay, I'm all for it. But when, like a bit back to earlier, when we have more issues that we do need to address, like I do believe we need a tempo setter in midfield, someone that's comfortable on the ball. 100% we do. Someone that's comfortable to be able to get us more possession on the ball. We need a right back, in my opinion. I'll just put it there now. I don't believe we will get a centre back.
No,
I don't think we will.
I don't think so.
Look, ideally, I would like another striker, but I don't want someone like a Vinicius coming in. I want the problem sorted long term.
We need quality. We need a quality body. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So for me, look, I just don't see the point of spending that money on him, because then other people, and the reason why I say that is because, like, you would say, right, for instance, just pick a player, go for Ruben Neves. Oh, it's too expensive. But then that's 40 million you could have put towards the Ruben Neves deal.
Yep.
So for me, I don't want him.
Well put,
Jack,
David.
also,
well put.
I just want to ask you a question, or everyone, and Jack specifically, because I don't think you've had that many questions yet. You've been let off.
Oh, I'm kind of the host, Bob, so I'm not supposed to even. Yeah,
he's neutral.
Maybe I've even broken my neutrality a bit today.
Do you think it's telling that? Right. Okay. So Spain were 1-0 down or 2-1 down. Extra time. Second half extra time. Spain whizzed the ball around. They've against an aging Italian defence. No matter how good they are, they're aged. They're old. They're tired.
No.
And they play a high line. That was one of their highlights. They played a high line with those, and they always got away with it. Why didn't they bring Traore on? You would think he's one of the fastest players in the Euros. Why didn't Spain trust to bring a Traore on to play against them defenders? And that, for me, was very telling. I remember watching it going, I don't understand why you wouldn't bring in.
You know why, Bob?
Traore.
They already had trouble. getting that plank up front to finish the ball, Morata. Let alone get Adama Traore to try and get the ball to him to score.
if it was that good, if there was a finish on him, a cross on him, he would have been on. But that's it. He would have run past the defenders and probably run down the tunnel with the ball without.
It's a fair question, Bob. It's a fair question. I would say my answer. I think my answer for it is simply just quickly is Luis Enrique is not really necessarily a manager that doesn't come with, very little bias. He has a lot of bias. I mean, some of the players that he left out for that Spain squad, you have to consider, maybe it's where his allegiances lie on certain players. He left out Angelino, he left out Sergio Reguilon. He's using, 2 30-year-old left backs, playing a very even old Spanish team. You would consider, apart from Pedri. And then as well, you do kind of think about it like Adama Traore. For a lot of Spanish fans, actually, they like Adama. They think that he does, offer that bit of something different, that a lot of Spanish players, normally don't. But Luis Enrique is just not someone that backs him at all. And that, I think, is kind of the bit of the problem. It's kind of the same with same situation with Laurent Blanc, where he just, put in Moussa Sissoko, like clearly maybe right when we think about it, left out Tanguy, but he left out Camavinga, a bunch of brilliant players. Sumare left out those guys. So they're just a bunch of managers who manage international sides that, have a huge bias, I would say, personally. But, Henry, I feel like, we have to get you maybe on the last, Kane question here. Harry is now rumored, and it's kind of some of the, leaks are kind of coming out that he's supposed to be signing a new contract. Do you maybe think that this contract, Henry, will have maybe that gentleman's agreement that we've been speaking about so much? And maybe what do you reckon maybe in that gentleman's agreement? Do you think there will be a release clause? And if there is a release clause, what do you think that release clause, might be? What's the value of
it? It's so difficult, isn't it? Because you think of Harry Kane's quality, even if we bring in a second striker, everyone's going to downgrade him straight away because you're comparing him to Harry Kane all the time. That's the problem. That's why I was screaming out for Danny Ings. He would have been perfect for us. Harry Kane's not banging in the goals. Put Danny Ings. 2 goals in 2 games for Villa. But if he signs a new contract, people need to understand this year was his market and Romelu Lukaku's market. Next year, we're going to be talking about Haaland. We're going to be talking about Mbappe. We're going to be talking about Vlahovic. At 29 years old next year, is anyone going to pay around £100 million for Harry Kane when you could potentially get Haaland and Mbappe for the same sort of money. I know Mbappe's got a year left on his contract, and Real Madrid are sniffing around, but I think he will sign a new contract because I think it will be good for his PR team to say, oh, look, Harry Kane's Tottenham through and through. And I know he has got a new PR team now. They're putting out more social media posts, more positive energy towards the Tottenham fan base, which is what we all want to soak up and make us all happy that he is for the future. But the release clause, it depends. He's got 3 years left on his contract. Say he signs, I don't know, an extra year or an extra 2-year extension. It's tough. The release clause for me, 120, 130 million. Probably not even that. He's 29 years old, you've got to remember. If he gets a big injury this season, we all know his ankles are quite weak. It's very tough to say. At the moment in time, it's up to debate. He's worth anything between 130 and 160 million. But next year, when there's other players coming through, you know, you've got other strikers. If he's worth 150, what's Haaland worth?
Haaland will be worth exactly 60 million next season. So, you know.
No, but I'm saying, like, yeah, I know you've got me there. You put my pants down. But if he didn't have a contract, what would his market range be? Because if you buy him, you could probably get 10 years out of Haaland. He's an absolute machine. The longevity is on players like Mbappe, Haaland, and Vlahovic. Kane, it's kind of like, I'm at my peak now. Yeah. You know, do you know what I mean? Some players can carry on and go to 35, 36, like Ramos, Thiago Silva, Ronaldo. Some players don't. Rooney retired at 34, and between 32 and 34 wasn't the same Rooney. So it's a difficult question. But I personally think he will sign a new deal, and I personally don't think there'll be a release clause in it.
Wow, there won't be a release clause in it. Yet again, there might be a second edition of the gentleman's agreement with Harry Kane. You know, the Sun and, you know, Sky Sports couldn't eat that up anymore, Henry.
Just on that gentleman's agreement, right? I've said this all along, and I've stood my stance all along. I personally think Harry Kane would have got his move if he didn't do what he did with the media. If he didn't go on a golfing trip with Gary Neville and start slating the club off. If he didn't get his absolute bum of a brother to start feeding news to the Sun and the Times and the Telegraph. If he kept it quiet and didn't put bad press on the club, I honestly think he would have got his move. I'm convinced on it because, you know, look at these big players. You know, Philippe Coutinho wanted out, kept it all quiet. When Ousmane Dembele wanted out of Dortmund, kept it quiet. Aubameyang did. You don't turn on your own fan base.
Right.
A fan base that adores Harry Kane. Absolutely adores him to the bone. He could swear at you and you still welcome him with open arms. But the difference is you leaked stuff to the press, and now it's kind of like you turned your back on the fans, and that's why he put that BS letter that some reporter wrote saying, "Oh, he loves the Tottenham fan base." No, you don't. You would have gone on a golfing day with Gary Neville and said, "Oh, well, I'm thinking about leaving the club. Oh, I'm always up to it. I've always got ambition."
You never said that.
You have ambition. You're a fucking football player. You paid 300 grand a week. That's more money in a week that we. Do you know what I do for 300 grand? I will do some disgusting things for 300 grand a week. And you're on that every week. When he had that week where he was isolating at the Tottenham ground, he got a 5-star Tottenham lodge with his own personal butler, his own personal private pitch with a coach, do one-to-one training.
Sounds like a weekend with David. That's what he gets.
Honestly, like these players, David's spot on. The players don't realise how lucky they are. There's people out there dying, fighting for their lives, and you're getting your own car because we're sponsored by. We've got a partnership with Audi. He's got 2 Audis. He's got an £11 million house. You know, have a bit of humblism and actually appreciate what you've got.
Definitely sound like David.
David highlighted this comment.
Yeah, just Cody, first of all I'm going to say to you is when I actually first came onto YouTube, Aurier, Winks, Davies, Sissoko, and all players that I started calling out. So to sit there and say I'm defending them is a nonsensical comment. If you're going to put in a comment, please make it factual. Ever since I started going on We Are Tottenham TV on my channel, everyone knows that is in this comments knows that I do not defend these players. Everybody. So first of all, that's not a correct comment. And second of all, am I defending them? No, I'm not defending them. The question was, Bob was saying he doesn't believe we're better than last season. I believe we are. We're not seeing Winks at the minute, only in the Carabao Cup game. We haven't seen him in the Premier League. I know it's only 2 games in. We're not seeing Doherty or Aurier. We're not seeing Sissoko. Endon fat ass who's not committed is out of the squad, nowhere near it. You know what I mean? So for me, I do think we're better. Because these are players we had to use last season.
Right.
You know, we've got Sessegnon and Skip were loaned out, but they're back in there this year. Galini, Romero, and Gil. That's 5 players. So that means there's 5 added players added to the competition that wasn't there last season, which means now we don't really have to rely on these guys so much. So that's just my argument on it, Cody. But please, if you're going to put in comments, don't make them clickbaity. Please put in factual comments, because everyone knows these players are ones that I actually been calling out from the very, very start, long before most people. In fact, I used to get slated for calling out these players, and now a lot of people are agreeing with me. So I wouldn't go that far, Cody. Just relax on the keyboard, my man. Jack, do you want to take this super chat?
Dusty Tones saying, I like Adama, but not at the expense of other transfers. So many better options out there. Lingard, for an example, could offer something a bit different. Yeah, maybe Lingard might offer that number 10 role, but Lingardinho is not for me, I would say. You know, he can honestly go back to West Ham. You know, I was a bit happy, you know, in the beginning watching him succeed at West Ham. Just the human in me, you know, is happy to see it. But then once he started doing a little bit too well, I would say for, you know, more than a couple of weeks, I was a bit disappointed to see Lingardinho maybe come back. I kind of did enjoy the, you know, the memes from before. He used to be like Phil Jones, you know, where, you know, everybody used to rip on him. And now, you know, he's kind of seen as a player that everybody wants. It's a bit disappointing, I would say. But no, Lingard, not for me. Again, I'll say it a million times. David probably knows. Pedro Gonçalves would be the guy that I think is just going to solve all our problems. He's from Sporting CP. That's enough said. You know, look him up. You know, he won the title last season with them. Unbelievable player, 23 goals in Liga NOS. That's more than Carlos Vinicius scored, you know, in that season that we bought from him. You know, so I would definitely get Pedro Gonçalves for sure. Definitely creative 23-year-old, I believe. But Dusty Tones. Anything say to Dusty, Dave?
Yeah, I agree with him. Look, I like Adama's an okay option, but not at the expense of other transfers. Lingard, for example, could offer something a bit different. Yeah, look, he had a good season at West Ham last season, but he was the main man, wasn't he, going forward? You know what I mean? Is he going to be that at Tottenham? No. So I don't know. It could be a bit different. I don't want Jesse Lingard. Look, if we took him in on loan for the season as an option, okay, maybe, but I don't want to buy him.
No.
The thing is, just talking on this, right? Why are we looking at Adama Traore if he spent all of last year on the bench at Wolves? Am I missing something?
His stats
he didn't have enough baby on it.
I mean, his stats, he had one good season. That was when Jimenez was on fire. Apart from that, in total, in over 100 appearances for Wolves, he's got something like 12 goals, 12 assists, 12 assists, which are 9 in one season, by the way. So 3 in the other ones, and 7 goals. I mean, Bergwijn's got 5 assists in 37 games and 4 goals in 37 games. You know, and I don't know, we're quite happy to give Bergwijn shit, but average, I'll tell you what, the average on Bergwijn's output compared to Adama's is way better. I don't see, but like I say, it's for Nuno. That's the only reason I'd be happy to see him in, because Nuno has had him. Then again, the question is why hasn't he been able to bring out the best in him? So. But in Nuno we trust, don't we? Blindly so right now.
It's a good point, Bob.
Yeah.
It's a good point, Bob, especially because, you know, even though it's not like we bought Doherty, you know, and thinking we would sign Nuno after getting Doherty, but, you know, we're only probably not even digging into Doherty as much just because we do maybe have this odd hope that maybe, you know, Nuno might, you know, get through to Doherty, might play him, you know, bring out the old Doherty, but I don't see that happening. But Dark Sun G saying we can't expect much because we were 7th for transfers. Hopefully next season we get 4th or 5th, and then we can get a lot of quality. If we can get AMF, okay. David, do you know what this is? Not sure. Maybe is it
Dark Sun G, just let us know in the comments what AMF,
what AMF is.
Take the first part.
No, that's not Adama. No. Not sure actually.
Isn't that? Oh no, I thought that was Alan said
not Awar. Not Awar. No. Trying to
No,
think
look,
of the ones we're rumored with. You know, Bob, I agree
actually.
with you. You know, so many rumors. You know, Bob, which one do I pick from? You know, is it a Damsgaard? You know, abbreviation. You know, which one is it? Sorry, Bob. You hate to.
Attacking midfielder.
Maybe, yeah. If we get an attacking midfielder.
He just said.
Yeah, appreciate that. Thanks, Bob. Yeah, so if we get an attacking midfielder, okay. Yeah, I agree. But also some are saying, you know, Lingard on loan wouldn't be a bad choice. You know, maybe on loan I'd take him, but personally, I don't know. There's just something about watching him, you know, succeed for us would I don't know, it just wouldn't really rub me the right way. As much as I do respect him outside of football, I do really respect him outside of football, Jesse. It's just kind of banter-wise. I kind of don't want him over here. But yeah, David, with the signing of the new contract, what do you maybe think? Do you think there's a release clause in there? Do you feel like there's a value on that release clause? Or do you think it's going to be like Henry maybe is saying, and do you think it's going to be kind of maybe another gentleman's agreement?
No, look, Harry Kane, look, if he falls for the same team twice, then he deserves to stay at Tottenham for the rest of his life. Look, for me...
You got to remember, though, this is Daniel Levy we're talking about.
I know, but look, Kane's not signing a new contract unless there is a release clause in it. He's not doing it.
But he doesn't need to sign a new contract. He can see out his 3 years and give absolutely everything to Tottenham because he's worth more than 150 million to us, and then go.
But the thing is, he wants more money this season. He wants more money. He wants his wages up. So the thing is, if Tottenham want to put him to a contract, he's going to sign it because the money is going to be beneficial to him. And then the thing is, he's not he's not going to sign it without a release clause. The money, like, if you're Harry Kane and Tottenham come to you and say, okay, Harry, we're going to put in 108 million release clause, just say, and we're going to throw you an extra 100 grand a week. If you're Harry Kane, you're not going to turn that down. You're not.
He's already on like 250. How can you want more money?
Like Henry, I know that. I fully get where you're coming from. I fully agree with you. But at the end of the day, if Tottenham offer him another 100 grand a week, you think he's going to turn it down?
Yeah, you're right.
I know. Look, for me, I agree with you. I think the wages are astronomical. No one needs that amount of money. You see billionaires. No one needs that amount of money. There's people out there homeless and starving. No one needs it. But at the end of the day, if someone offered you an extra 100 grand a week just for doing what you already do, you're going to take it, aren't you? He's already scoring goals in the season. If they hand him an extra 100 grand a week, you're going to be like, oh, happy days. They're paying me more to do the exact same. Brilliant. Then he's going to put a release clause in it because he has to protect himself too. With this whole new contract, I'll be honest with you, I actually wouldn't be surprised if it didn't even get to that. I really wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. What is he now? 28? Is he 28, 29? 28. So he's probably what? 3 good years, you can say, guaranteed left at the top. After that, it's an unknown. You don't know whether he's going to slow down with his ankle, stuff like that. So he has to protect the last 3 years, and he's going to want to earn as much money as he can out of it. But I genuinely don't think there will be a contract signed. That's just my opinion on it. I do want to say, though, quickly, 342 people watching. Wow. Now, we're not the only people on this debate. There's Henry Wright TV and Bob Spur TV, guys. Make sure you get over and follow their channels. Make sure you smash a subscribe. Also, the Flat Cap Euro Talk as well, with our co-host Jack. That's the new channel, in partnership with the Irish Hotspur. So, guys, get over and smash that as well. Smash that like button, smash the subscribe button on the Irish Hotspur as well, and get them super chats in. The chat is flying. If you want to keep skipping the queue ahead of all the comments, we will get up on. Look, I know there's people out there not in a position that can super chat. I fully get it. So I guarantee you I will try and get the comments up as much as I can. But when the chat is flying like this, you want to skip the queue or stuff like that. Sometimes I can't get all the chat, so the super chat is the way to go, guys.
Yeah, you're spot on. Just quickly on that, though. If he does put a release clause in, is an English club going to pay 100, 120 million for a 29, 30-year-old Harry Kane? I think you got more chance of a Real Madrid, of a Barcelona, of a PSG, or a Bayern Munich, a team abroad paying that amount of money for an age player. I don't think Man City, with their transfer philosophy, they don't normally pay over 60 million or buy a player that's over 26. Man United are crazy, and they did pay 80 million for Maguire, but even them, I don't think they'd pay 120 million for a 30-year-old.
What I will say to you on that, Henry, is right. You look at it. Man City are in need of a striker, big time. Man United, Cavani, after this season, they're going to need a striker. Madrid will need one with Benzema. There's plenty. If Mbappe leaves, they're going to want to. PSG will want to fill that void. So there's going to be plenty. If Ronaldo's leaving Juventus, they're going to want a striker. So after this summer, there's going to be loads of top clubs looking for a striker. Now, there's 2 you're going to look at, and that you probably think will gettable if you're them clubs and world class. That's Haaland and Harry Kane. So you're probably talking about 5 clubs fighting it out for 2 world class strikers.
And not everybody's going to get Haaland. Like I said before, if he wants to go for that release clause, Haaland, I think for 60 million, whoever he wants to go to, he's going to pick, the best of his suitors. And then you might think about it, Henry, maybe they might just all be going to Harry Kane as their second choice. It might be kind of second fiddle Harry Kane. It's kind of the backup to Haaland. Maybe everybody will look at Haaland as their first choice, and then Harry Kane is their second choice, which is kind of crazy if that's what you're really looking at. But it is ridiculous, but that's how you probably might see it happening, to be honest. And then Stefan Blois saying, Levy like Dr. Evil and Austin Powers, $1 trillion. But yeah, definitely really appreciate it. Also, Stefan Blois, again, it feels like I haven't seen you in a while, but maybe we've just missed you. So it's good to have you back as well, Stefan Blois. We do appreciate seeing you in the chat as always. Do really appreciate you. But Bob, maybe just quickly, what's your evaluation on, is it going to be another gentleman's agreement? Is it going to be a release clause? What do you think? Is he going to sign another contract, Bob? Yeah.
First of all, I just want to say, a lot of people have keep on mentioning his injuries. He's not really had a bad injury. He missed 6 games last season, and three games in the Premier League last season.
He missed nothing,
and probably about 6 or 7 season before. Which, if you compare it to other strikers in big clubs, it does happen. So he's not been out for months and months and months, like everyone seems to suggest. I'm totally against the notion that he doesn't get any more injuries now recently than what other strikers have had. But I think it's a bit of a unfortunate mindset that a fan base have. And I was like this before it was confirmed that Harry Kane was staying. And I think I mentioned it on one of these channels. I think why are we looking at, why is it a foregone conclusion that he's going to go after a year? I always hear, we'll keep him for another year. No. We keep him, we build a squad around him, and we'll make Harry Kane say, you know what, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here. I can see a vision. Paratici has earned his Don status. The board are doing something different. We've got quality players in. I'm on a better contract. I don't see there's anything wrong with giving him a better contract, because he would have got that at Man City. If we're going to act like a big club, we need to start putting the pants on, big boy pants on. None of this, oh, he's only here for another season. I couldn't give a shit if every club in the world needed another striker. He's our striker. He's the best striker in the world. He plays for Tottenham Football Club. We're going to have a squad. We're going to have a team that will complement Harry Kane, not rely on Harry Kane. So no, this mindset of a foregone conclusion that will go after a year, a gentleman agreement or not. No. After a year, Harry Kane's going to turn around to the board and say, any chance I could have a 10-year contract, please, guys? Because that's what we need to do. That's what our mindset needs to be. If we're brought in a Don Paratici, let's see. Let's see. And he's come with that. I know it's going to take a lot longer than one season. Of course it is. It's going to take time. But if the signs are right and we are kicking on, then he'll have faith just like any other Spurs supporter. Because like Dave says, he's a Spurs man. We need to build a squad around him. There's no shame in admitting. I totally condone his actions. I can differentiate. I think he was a bit of a dickhead for what he does. That's my personal opinion. I've always stood by that. But I've always wanted him to stay. And I always said that he was going to stay. He has stayed. Now let's kick on. Kick on.
We need a realist, next to Paratici, and maybe Bob can fill that void. We need, the tough negotiator. Maybe, you could be the Harry Kane mediator. Maybe you could be the Harry Kane, Charlie Kane mediator. But we just finished, the last question there on Harry Kane. So Henry, maybe any last words, maybe on the Harry Kane kind of saga, any of the Harry Kane, contract issues, any of the Harry Kane, let's say, the Harry Kane saga. Any last words maybe on it? I know you had your hand up.
Yeah, I just very, very quickly. People need to understand as well, other clubs, we don't need to sell Harry Kane. Yeah. That's one thing that is really pissing me off. Man City fans, but you might not get enough money next year. It doesn't matter. Who are we going to get to come in to replace 13 goals in 24 and 13 assists and 23 goals or something in a mediocre team that had 2 different managers, had a puppet as a coach? We don't need to sell him. We need to give him a reason to want to stay and build around him. Bob's absolutely spot on. This Man United, but he might only be worth 100 million next year. I don't care. Name another striker that has had that good of a season in the last decade for a team that's 7th or 8th. You can't. I don't want to hear about Aguero or Rooney. They're in super teams. We've got Kane and Son, and then everyone else. So
let's build around it.
Well said. Well said. David, were you going to say something? Maybe any last words? Maybe on the Harry Kane saga? Okay. We're going to move on maybe to the actual squad. Guys, maybe apart from, Harry Kane, can Nuno, you guys, do you maybe think that Nuno is maybe causing a regeneration, a revolution of moon boots and GPS Sanchez? Will they actually grow in confidence this season, or eventually will they just kind of lose it, after a huge calamitous mistake like last season? Is there maybe something you could say maybe different in the air, this season, David, in terms of, maybe Eric Dyer, or Sanchez? Is he just doing something different, Nuno, or is it just going to be kind of the same as last season as the outcome?
Look, with Eric Dyer, personally, the guy performed up until October, November last season, and then went off a cliff, and then was in the press complaining about, why your fans getting on my back because you stopped performing when we need you to perform the most. So for me, that one I'm going to hold off on. To be honest with you, I want to see consistency from him. It's always been a large problem of his. And then just on Sanchez, and then I want to go into them as a pair. So on Sanchez, look, for me, he's clearly his passing ability has got better anyway. That's something he's definitely worked on. He seems to be more composed on the ball. Seems to in fact, I would actually almost go to the point now saying he has more of a vision than what Harry Winks does. I'll be honest with you. So for me, I think he's improving that aspect. The only thing I will say is that against Wolves, it did look like that he was starting to maybe get a bit of trouble with the balls in behind him again. And that has always been a massive problem for G. That's why we nickname him GPS Sanchez. Because he needs a tracker on the ball when it goes in behind him. So that is a concern for me. But all in all, look, he seems more switched on. Even there against Wolves, he put some great clearances. Same against City, great clearances. But one thing I have to say, even just from the back four as a whole, is just seeing bodies being put on the line again in front of our own goals is a massive plus. As a pair, look, I massively think, right? So you look at Sanchez. He doesn't have a Doherty or an Aurier. I was going to say Doherty, I was going to combine the two of them. On that side, making the mistakes. So if you look against City and Wolves, how many times did they come down the right-hand side? Fuck all. Yeah. Fuck all. And that's because Tanganga's able to handle himself out there. He's a proper defender. He knows how to defend. So that also gives them less work to do, right? They're not getting exposed as much. You look at Eric Dyer on the left. Now, okay, some games he played with Reguilon, some games he played with Davies. Now, for me, playing with Davies is just ridiculous because at times I honestly seen the ball go down his side and he's standing behind Eric Dyer. Now, if I was Eric Dyer, I'd be furious, because he's just exposing him. He's already kind of bad enough without being exposed even more. So now, look, Reguilon, but where I'd say things have changed with Reguilon is last season he got out there quick enough, but he was like jumping in, and wingers were just putting it by him and getting the balls in the box or getting shots off. But this season, he seems to have curbed that a little, and he seems to be able to read it. Mahrez, I thought, was going to destroy him cutting inside all last game against City. Got inside him once, and that was the first time he tried it. After that, he didn't do it again. Against Wolves, didn't really cut in offside him at all. So for me, I do think having the fullbacks on point do make your centre-backs look a bit better. But not only that, you look at the midfield tree of Skip, Ali and Winks. Or not Winks, Jesus. When can I get on my head? Skip, Højbjerg and Ali, right? They're also working back and tracking back. Like last season, how many times did we just see players pick up the ball, run at our team, skin two players and get a shot off, right? Through the middle or out wide. They can't do it now. There's no option through the middle. There's no option out wide because the fullbacks are cutting off. But with the middle as well, even if a gap does appear, you look at Dele Alli. He's getting back, getting them tackles in. Højbjerg, Skip. They're not even giving them a chance to play through the middle anymore because they're just straight at them, pounding them, tackles. So I do think that has a massive part to play with the improvement we've seen so far. And I must stress, over 2 games, just 2, not season, just 2, that they have looked better. Now, look, as well, with the Nuno squad, some players will be better this season than what they were last season. I'll be honest, I don't think we can have as much of a bad season as we did last season. But I don't want to believe it. I do think some players will be better. Sanchez and Dyer, who knows? But look, I do think one of them will end up having to pair up with Romero. So we'll wait and see.
No, David, really good answer there. And also, Dave, I will say, you're just going to have to, find a different, way to improve your Winksitarian, because I know Chris is a bit upset with you probably because, you're saying his name a bit too much, David. You need to pledge, need to be a better Winksitarian. But Henry, the question to you, what do you maybe think of this kind of maybe slight, maybe bump in form for, kind of moon boots and GPS Sanchez? Is it temporary like last season, or do you maybe seeing it be, you may be seeing, Nuno maybe improving it a bit more? Do you maybe see them, let's say, kind of falling off, a cliff like last season?
It's a good question. thing is, they were good under Mourinho. Dyer was running through walls for this guy, but at the end of the day, they're still the same player underneath. You as a coach, your job is to coach the players and then bring belief into the players. You know, look what Klopp's done with Trent Alexander-Arnold. He went for a bit of a phase where everyone was like, "Is he the same player?" You know, and then now he's got him back to going, right, you're the man. You're the best right back in the country. You've got something that no other right back has got. You can spread the ball like Kevin De Bruyne. That's coaching. Can Nuno get that out of Eric Dyer and Davinson Sanchez? Absolutely not, because it's going to come to a point where they're going to make a mistake. Our fan base is going to be on them like flies, because we always are, because we're so passionate and we want absolutely everything from this football club, that at the end of the day, you can't polish a turd. I don't care how they might go 5. We might do Watford. We might do Pacos de Ferreira tomorrow. We might do Watford, do Palace, somehow beat Chelsea and Arsenal. And we'll be like, oh, these are the guys. And then we'll go and lose 1-0 to like Norwich away. And then we'll all be like, oh, how are we? What's going on? What's going on? We need reinforcements. And that's why I bought Romero, who, by the way, was the best defender in Italy last year, voted, and he had a very good Copa America. He needs to go, right, you're the commanding centre-back. Personally, for me, I'd like to see a partnership of Japhet Tanganga and Rodon, and then maybe Aurier at right back, or bring in Rodon and Romero with Tanganga. I do not want to see Davinson Sanchez and Dyer long term. Wow. Short term, fair enough. Crack on. You got form.
Eric Wait Dyer till they mess up, maybe for you. Ball. Wait till they fall, maybe is maybe what you're saying. And
yeah, then, As soon as Idris Elba and Eric Dyer start falling, then we get rid. Like it's as simple as that.
Chicken wings, like.
Bob, to you. Eric Dyer, GPS Sanchez. You know, I feel like maybe a bit of context, maybe just so maybe I get a different answer. But Bob, I think you should go with what you believe here. But maybe I could add a bit of context, to where the question's coming from. Nuno, saw some of, Mustafi's best seasons were under Nuno. Mangala, that defender from way back in the day who City signed, his best seasons were under Nuno. Otamendi's best seasons at Valencia were under Nuno. Is there maybe a chance, just maybe a chance that, Nuno could possibly be a bit of, let's say, a moon boots and a GPS whisperer?
Yeah, it's up to them. I mean, unfortunately, past patterns will suggest they are going to mess up. And to be fair, against Wolves, Dyer did lose that ball in midfield, and we weren't surprised, were we? Because it was just a Dyer-esque moment. But it's up to them now. It's up to them. Romero shouldn't walk into the side just because it's cost 50 million. We should have a squad or a team at this time of moment where Nuno should be justifying somebody's selection based on their price. It's up to them. It's up to Sanchez and Dyer to mess up like we're all expecting. We're all expecting them to do a blunder sooner or later, and then Romero can come in and put his place. I was, for me, it just, if Nuno's come in and he's stated the clean slate with everyone, it's a clean slate. Whatever we've done in the past, whatever, no matter what they've done in the past shouldn't matter right now. And just to bring Romero in just because it's cost XYG. Whereas they've not even justified yet to be dropped, I think will cause it'll start. Players will question his word because his word has been a clean slate, and people will think, oh, if there's a big money buy, I've lost my place straight away. I think for the team to be coherent, Nuno needs to be stronger than that. Nuno needs to be looking at Romero and saying, right, it's up to you to displace these guys by being good in training. Show me you're committed, and if there's there's every chance you might be able to replace them because they'll fuck up soon. Then you go in. But I think, although the pattern suggests that they are going to make a blunder, and they probably will, like Henry says, we'll wait till then because I just don't think it'll just go against whatever is stood for going into a new club. So far so good. I think Sanchez has probably had his. Has probably been the better of the two so far. He has been helped by Tanganga. He's been helped by a deep lying Skippy as well. But that's the way it is. That's the way the team is. And if it works, if it's working at the moment, why change it? The test will be away to the bigger teams. But Sanchez has been renowned to have good games against the bigger team. So it's a wait and see for me. But for me, on a Nuno side and his authoritative side, I think by just putting in Romero because he's cost X amount, I think it just probably not show weakness, but I think it shows a bit of I don't know, just you're a big number, so you come in. Let him fight for it. Let any player who comes to Spurs, they need to fight for the place rather than think, well, it costs X amount, get me in. Only Harry Kane's got that exception, and he's not big money seller, but you know what I mean. He's got the right to play. He's the best striker in the world.
Good answer, Bob. Really good answer, I will say. And I might say maybe I'll table this, question, maybe till what David was saying, until maybe after, October, maybe early November time. And we'll see if, it's the same thing with GPS 100%. And moon boots. Maybe, maybe they actually might survive, that 2-month initial period. But Will Stewart, yet again, with another super chat. Saying, do you spend 50 million pounds to have it sit on the bench for 6 weeks? Probably you wouldn't like that to happen, but I would maybe add a bit of context. Will, again, I'm not, completely, I definitely do agree with you a little bit here. But you
don't set him off, Bob. Don't set Will off.
Why not, Will? If it's good for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club if Dyer and Sanchez are keeping Romero out. Fucking hell, it's fantastic for us. It's unlikely as it is, it's great for our squad. If Eric Dyer and Sanchez, bloody hell, out of everyone, keeping out of Romero, what a fantastic position to be in. I don't see any problem with him sitting him on the bench for the whole season if it means Dyer and Sanchez are keeping clean sheets, and winning man of the matches. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
There's nothing wrong with healthy composition.
I like it, Bob, and maybe you're kind of building off of what you're saying, Bob. You maybe what Henry was saying, wait till they mess up, wait till they have the GPS and moon boots moments that we know they're fully capable of, but wait till it happens. And at the moment, they have not happened, and maybe that's what we have to think about it. But I will say Romero's been a bit injured, and as well, he doesn't speak English like really at all. And so he has to also learn that. Maybe if he played along Sanchez, he'd probably be a bit easier for him, but he certainly wouldn't be able to play alongside Dyer at the moment. So, yeah, we just have to take a lot of stuff into consideration here. Right and again, he seems to be a bit injury prone at the moment.
Yeah, I know. I'm doing it on purpose. Yeah, right now, he will carry on sending super chats, you see.
I'll
right now, Will, yeah, he does. Moon Boots does deserve to keep Romero on the bench, mate. Yeah, he does. Good point.
Do you know what? I'm actually torn on this, to be honest with you, because in a way, I agree with Will. You don't sign a player for 50, 55 mil and, bring him in to sit on the bench. He was brought in to replace our best defender, which was Toby Alderweireld, which means he was brought in to be our best defender. But at the same time, I also believe in if it's not broke, don't fix it. So for me, while he is carrying a bit of an injury and he's not 100%, I know he'll probably play it tomorrow. But for me, I think you have until after the international break, then try and get him in for the Palace game and then going into Chelsea, Arsenal, and let's see what you can do. That's just my opinion on it. But sorry, Jack, this is your moment to shine that.
No, I really appreciate it, Bob, actually. I like that bit. It's good crack, Bob. It's good crack. He says, does the best defender in Serie A deserve to be sat behind moon boots? Does he deserve to be sat in moon boots' place? Probably not, probably not. But, maybe, again, a lot of people kind of agree with Will, I would say, on this. And then a lot of people might, agree with what Bob is saying, which, right. Don't fix what ain't broke, especially when it comes to moon boots and Sanchez. It might be a bit of a rarity. It's like an eclipse or something, like a solar eclipse only comes so much, seeing a moon boots and GPS performance. So we have to live it while we can, right? We have to live it while we can. But moving on, guys, we will move on to Tanguy here. Maybe also similar to Kane, kind of been the flavor of the last few weeks, Tanguy. And do you think if Tanguy isn't sold, by the transfer deadline, will we see him maybe make a similar return, to the squad that he has before, maybe make a regeneration, maybe, win over Nuno, maybe do a couple of jogs in the morning with Nuno from his house? Will we see that again? Or will we just see him, warming the bench, playing Candy Crush on the iPad, maybe joking around with players on the bench? Which one will we be seeing? It's kind of there's only two answers really. And which one will we be seeing? Henry, I'm going to go to you. Will we be seeing a Tanguy on the bench, or will we be seeing a Tanguy, maybe coming back into the squad again?
It's down to two things. I
guess if also you could say, do you think he's going to be sold this, transfer window? You could also answer that, I guess, too. But
So I think it's 20% down to Nuno, 80% down to Ndombele. Nuno should, in my opinion, or it's all down to the player really. He should want to play. He's a record signing. Let's be completely honest. He has more ability than any other midfielder in our squad. He's so good in that transition between defence and attack. He's a good ball carrier. He's not a playmaker. He's a box-to-box. This is what people don't seem to understand. He played in the playmaker position, and he was our 4th top goal scorer behind Bale, Son, and Kane, which you expect the forwards to do. However, I don't think he's going to be sold, because you know what Daniel Levy's like. He's a record signing. He's going to want to get top money for him, and at his current point in time, Ndombele's stocks is only falling down because he's not getting played. He's putting on weight, and like you said, he's playing Candy Crush. Personally, I think what will happen is he won't get sold, and then around the November, December time, when our midfield is there's holes everywhere because Winks is playing and Sissoko's playing and they're making mistakes, he will get some game time. And if he shines, then maybe he gets rolled out more into the team more. But it's a very, very difficult situation that Nuno's got, and people don't seem to realise. It's a very, very difficult situation. You've got Giovanni Lo Celso. No one really knows what his position is. Is he a 6? Is he an 8? Is he a 10? We've got Harry Winks. We've got Musa Sissoko, who's absolutely useless. Dele Alli. Like, where does Ndombele fit into the team currently? Does he even get in the team currently?
Yeah.
Because Skip and Højbjerg in that double pivot, and then it's just who wants to be the number 10.
Who wants to be the box to box? Can he be the box to box guy? Yeah, like Dele's been. You know, do you think he could do that? Could he be in good enough shape, Henry? You know, could he become that role that Dele's doing?
It's up to him, isn't it? You know, Bob said it to an absolute T. He's got a mentality problem. You don't have that much ability and not
make the team.
Not want to, like Pogba. Pogba's got a mentality problem, but he knows when to turn up. Like 5 assists in 2 games, absolutely disgusting. Ndombele's got ability, not comparing the two. You could walk into this team. He would have been excellent against Man City. He's so good at holding the ball up on the turn, dropping the shoulder. Fernandinho's doing the splits, and Son puts it in the back of the net. So it is what it is. I don't think he's going to be sold, and I think he will get back in the team.
Yeah, I like that answer. You know, I think that's a realistic answer, to be honest. You know, really is, you know, up to Tanguy, and as well, you know, building off of what Bob said a million times. You know, it's a mentality problem. He honestly can't be that talented and not make the squad. It has to be something else. But to you, Bobby, you know, is it a Tanguy problem? And then as well, do you maybe think if Tanguy isn't sold this, you know, in the next few days, do you think he's going to make a, you know, come back into the squad? Or do you feel like he's just going to be sitting on the bench, you know, playing Candy Crush with maybe Serge Aurier?
You know what I've said about Ndombele. It is a mentality problem. I know it's just been compared to, and it's just compared to Pogba. I think it pisses all over Pogba when it comes to ability. I think it'd be twice the player Pogba is. I honestly believe it. With the ability he's got, he can be the best midfielder in the world. And I've said that over and over again on your show, and I've said to you. But having said that, if he's coming back as a Ndombele from last season, I still think that's shit. We were shouting we were celebrating from the rooftops when he completed 90 minutes last season. He was a 70-minute player for us last season, and he got away with it because of his ability. We'd have to keep one substitute to one side because we knew Ndombele could only give us 60, 70 minutes. We'd actually celebrate if he did the odd 90 minutes. I don't know how many 90 minutes he completed. I'll probably count on one hand. So we need a better, fitter Ndombele. We need a 90-minute Ndombele who's committed, who's fit, who's mentally right as well. So I'm sorry if it's going to be a choice between no Ndombele or an Ndombele from last season. By bringing in Ndombele from last season, we're already losing a substitute, and we're like, you know, justifying a player to play only 70 minutes. Again, going totally against what Nuno's trying to build. He gets in, he's good, but he'll only play 70 minutes for us. No. You can't have the rest of the team working the way they are, giving 90 minutes, being full pelt, and having the footless devils up there and making exceptions for a guy who's got a hell of a lot of ability, but he's only going to give 70 minutes. No, it doesn't work like that. He needs to come back as a 90-minute player. So if it's the same player as last season, then he can fuck off. I'd rather not have him at all. So he needs to work. He's got so much to do, Jack. He's got so much to do. And if he doesn't, what a waste, man. What a waste. Like I say, the guy can be the best footballer in the world. That's I've only seen Gaza do some of the stuff he does. And Gaza's my all-time favourite player. Honestly, some of the stuff he's done with the football, I've only seen Gaza do. Mate, what a waste. And he needs to realise that. Someone needs to sit him down and say, look what you could win. Look what you could, like a ball.
I wish Burgers, Burgers, helped him play better. Maybe the other things, helped, maybe Gaza play better, but, that's not really the case. But I will say, look, we have to quicken this up, everybody. So we're going to go to this question, going to get, quick questions, quick answers from you guys. And then we're going to move on to extra time and try to zoom through that. So David here, are you, a bit of a Bergwijn sexual? Do you kind of feel like, Bergwijn will come good at this club? Or do you feel like he's a bit overrated? Like maybe some are kind of starting to say, that maybe we kind of overhyped Bergwijn. What is your feeling, David?
Me personally, I have to say I think overrated. I'll be honest with you. Look, for me, what lessons did you learn from last season? 2 big misses against Liverpool. He's had a year to put that mentality right. 1 huge chance against City to put us 2-0 ahead, which means the game's done and dusted. He blew it. All he has to do is square that ball 5 yards across the 6-yard box to Dele Alli, puts us 2-0 up against Wolves. He blew it.
Yeah.
Problem I've had with him all along is the end product. So what has he actually learned from that Liverpool game to this game? The thing is, when we want to be where we want to be, right, which is Champions League and stuff like that, they're the moments he has to put away. That's the difference sometimes. Like, okay, we've seen it out 1-0. But them chances, as we've seen before, and as he knows, they're the difference between winning and losing. They're the difference. They're the difference between getting points and not getting points. And for me, I just struggle to see, okay, look, he done a bit of skill there the other day. Everyone's going to be jacking off to it. You know what I mean? Okay, great. But how can he do that and he can't pass the ball 5 yards to Dele Alli across 6-yard box?
That is the question, David.
What's wrong with the guy? So for me, look, I'll be honest with you. I think it's another case where we spunk their money. People say all you need is a goal. He scored at the back end against Aston Villa last season. Scored pre-season. Also got an assist pre-season. What's he done the first 2 games to show me that when it actually comes to crunch time and when it actually matters, that he's done differently? What? Do a simple little flick down the line and off he goes? Come on. Give me a break. That's just my personal opinion on it. I know Bob's going to think completely different, but realistically, I'm just thinking, like, when you do look at it, 2 big chances in 2 games for him, 2 misses against Liverpool last season. What lessons has he learned? And he's had a year to put it right. Yeah,
definitely, David. But before I get to Bob, Henry, what do you feel like on this? Are you in the Bergwijn camp, or is he overrated? Is he going to come good for us? Or do you want to give him even more time? Where do you feel like, you are on Bergwijn?
I'm afraid I'm with David on this. I think Lucas is a better winger. I think Adama Traore is a better winger.
Whoa.
Like, I know he doesn't. Adama Traore doesn't play with the likes of Kane and Son, and you could argue our team's better, but his decision making in the final third is terrible. Like David said, yes, he had a fantastic start. Goals against Man United, goals against City, and he does do the odd moment. Like David said, everyone's jacking off and everyone's getting amongst themselves. That skill we did against Wolves. What else did he do that game? If he would have bagged that chance against Man City, I think the confidence would have rose and we would have seen a bit more of him. But I don't get it.
Yeah.
That right wing is calling out for a player. It was Gareth Bale. Lamella's gone now. So Bergwijn's got to step up. He has to step up. Otherwise, Brian Hill's going to be like, right, okay, I've got more ability than you. I'm going to push you out of the team. And then how long are we sitting there going, do we need to cash in? Personally, if a bid comes in for the right money this summer, I would cash in. That's just my opinion.
Interesting. I think that's a good take there. Bob, coming to you. What do you say about Bergwijn? When is he going to come good, Bob? How is he going to come good? How is he going to do it? Oh, sorry, Bob. Let me get to Dermot's super chat first. I really do apologize, Bob. Tottenham Tantrum. Really do appreciate it, Dermot. Really do appreciate the generosity. And he's saying this is for all of you, for the content. Shows you all do for the Spurs fans as you do for me. Your content has helped me through some tough times. So keep rocking and rolling. And come on, you Spurs. No,
come on, you Harris Army, lad.
Come on, you Harris Army, David. Gosh, you got to get that right, David. Come on, you Harris Army, and come on, you Spurs. Really do appreciate it, Dermot. And Dermot, really do. I'm glad you had, a much better weekend than you did last weekend. I'm glad that, everything's going a bit smoother for you now. I really do hope that, maybe that Wolves, win wasn't too nerve-wracking for you as it maybe was for David. David seemed like he was, getting a bit new of a heart rate that maybe wasn't good for him, for all of us. Dermot, I hope you were just a bit more relaxed than maybe David was. And I do hope that you enjoyed the win. And I hope you're enjoying maybe the 2 clean sheets as well, Dermot. And as always, Dermot, really do appreciate your support. We really do appreciate your support. Hope you're keeping well. And as everybody, check him out. It's just the name right there, as it is on Twitter. Check him out on Twitter, Tottenham Tantrum. I do think it's a great name, and please check him out. David, anything to say to Dermot?
No, just Dermot, I hope you're keeping well, my man. You're an absolute legend. Like I echo Jack, everyone check out Tottenham Tantrum on Twitter. And Dermot, it's good to see you back, my man. I hope things are good. And I love the Come On You Harris Army. Absolutely love it, my man. Thank you. Everyone, if you have enjoyed the stream, we are going into Bob's answer here for the last question, then a couple of little short questions for everybody. If you have enjoyed it, guys, make sure you do smash that like. We're about eight off 200 likes. Make sure you subscribe to the Irish Hotspur if you're new, flatcapeurotalk, Henry Wright TV, Bob Spur TV, and also get your super chats in if you've really enjoyed this debate. It really does help out so much, guys.
In the description below,
it also
everybody.
helps you jump the queue when the chat is busy, guys. So big up.
Everybody, Henry Wright TV, Bob Spur TV in the description below. You know where to find it. They've definitely been able to provide, the entertainment tonight, the debates tonight, the hot takes tonight. They've honestly stepped up to the plate, I will say. But, Bob, how do you defend, Bergwijn, considering, you seem to be, filled by panelists that seem to be, a bit on the opposite spectrum for the Bergwijn camp. What do you say, towards Bergwijn? What are we missing?
Yeah, no, I'll never fight an opinion. I'll give my opinion and fight my opinion. But I'll never fight somebody else's because it's not fact, it's not right, it's not wrong. Same like mine. Bergwijn's got time on his side. There's no way, if you want to judge it by this season, I don't see how you can justify Traore being better than Bergwijn. He's Traore missed a sitter in both the games he's played in. And last time I counted, it was 5,824 crosses he put in against Spurs. And none of them came to anything. So you can't speak about end product. Bergwijn, for me, he fits in that front three. The biggest thing I've seen better than last season is his fitness. One thing at a time. All the team is working on one thing at a time. And he's got drive, he's got commitment in my eyes. And with regards to final quality and everything else, mate, he's been here. If you compare the same number of games now compared to Sonny's, and remember, Sonny wants to leave after the first season. They're pretty much like for like.
Does he have Son's mentality or Son's ability? No.
I think this season he has, yeah.
Why? What has he done this season in the 2 games that he has that ability and mentality?
The ability, mate, even stats-wise, they're pretty much the same. The first 37 performances from Sonny and Thingy, and not once. For me, what Bergwijn's got on his side, he's got till Jan, and I'm on your camp. If he's not sorting it out if he's not improving by Jan, then he's got every right for another winger, another person to come in and take him. And it goes for pretty much every like a Dele Alli or anyone. What he's got on his side is till Jan. I've seen an improvement with regards to his work ethics. It's a little bit of skill, and we've got every right, mate. We were all after he scored against Chelsea. I was on this stream in pre-season. And there were a lot of people saying, you know what, hands up, he's done well today, he's done well. And he did. Just for that one game, he did do well. Then he's had a good game against Man City. Everyone's like, you know what, good on Bergwijn. He's had a good game. But as soon as he's had a shit game, everyone wants to jump on the bandwagon. Rightly so, because of past thingy. And we'll do the same with Dyer, and we'll do the same with Sanchez. But in Bergwijn, you know what it is with me. We call it blind love. I've got faith in him, and I think he'll turn it around. And, of course, if it's not worked out, by Jan, I'll be the first one to say, you know what, he's not done it. I said the same thing about Ndombele, and I'll be the first person to say, no, he ain't got a fucking chance to get back in the team. Sell him off. Yeah. And I'll say the same thing about Bergwijn. But there's something in Bergwijn, guys, that I really do think there's something to come out. And if there's many other players who've given longer chances, at least he deserves a chance till Jan at least. Till January at least.
Sure. Yeah, appreciate your Bergwijn answers, everybody. But moving on to extra time, the first question here, just going to go through it quickly because, people are pressed for time here. So this question just has to do with, we were heavily rumored, maybe it was all paper talk, but still, just to play with me here, we were heavily rumored with these two strikers as, backups to Kane, maybe even as the, the replacements for Kane. Some might say, who would you rather have if it came down to that, as a backup or as a replacement? Would you rather have Vlahovic from Fiorentina or Lautaro Martinez from Inter? For me, I would go Vlahovic. David, how about you?
Yeah, I'll go Vlahovic. I think his body type is more suited to the Premier League than what Lautaro Martinez is. And me personally, I just think he'd be more suited to the way Tottenham plays, and having that big guy up front than Lautaro Martinez.
Yeah, like that answer, Dave. Bob, how do you feel? I know maybe, it's kind of, you probably called it that we weren't going to get either, but let's say we did, Bob. Which one would you have rather had?
Martinez, because I think if we have a goal down, and we are, in my scenario, we are keeping Kane, we're not replacing him. So if it was replacing Kane, then Vlahovic. But if we're getting someone in as well as Kane, then Martinez. Because if there's ever a time we need a goal, we need a little and large, the good old-fashioned 4-4-2. So for me, Martinez with Kane, but replacement, obviously Dusan.
Yeah. Henry, are you a Vlahovic man? Are you a Lautaro Martinez man? How do you feel in that camp?
I'm in Bob's camp. Personally, for me, Lautaro Martinez, done it for a longer period of time. Vlahovic had a very good season. I think he got third or fourth top goal scorer. A good chunk of those were penalties, and it is his debut season. We need to see how he nurtures in the next couple of years. Lautaro Martinez has done absolute bits in the last 2 or 3 seasons for Inter Milan. He also featured in the Copa America for Argentina. And Bob is right to a degree, the little and large. If Kane, he's also, with that little and large, Martinez can play on the right and in the centre forward role. So could he potentially be a number 10 and maybe Kane a number 9? Can you get that with Martinez? Martinez and Kane, both quite bulky. Not Martinez, Vlahovic and Kane are both that sort of same build. Martinez quite pacey. For me, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, interesting. Better back four partner for Christian Romero. Maybe if we were to play a back four with Christian Romero, Moon Boots or GPS Sanchez, if you had to pick. For me, I'm going to go with GPS Sanchez. Maybe also because, simply they might be able to just, with Romero, let's say he's a bit of a slow learner, maybe in terms of just, getting into the squad, maybe language wise, some people are a bit slower than others. I would say might be nice to have someone like, Sanchez be able to help him out a bit, but as well, they're both very aggressive defenders. And if one of them, can maybe replace Toby's pings, to a degree, I would say then for me, it would be Sanchez. But David, what about you? GPS or Moon Boots?
Just quickly, for me, I think GPS, he switches off less than what Moon Boots does.
Bob?
Yeah, I've never called him GPS. For me, Sanchez has had the better start of the two.
Sanchez. It is. You never forget that chance where Leeds beat us. Was it 3-0? They put the ball into the box, and Dyer watched it go past. Yeah. That for me is when I was like, this guy has got to go. A basic defending IQ is put that ball in Rosed defender's corner. You do not let the ball go past you in the 6-yard box. It's criminal. It's horrible behavior.
Yeah, interesting. A lot of people have said, Harry Winks, wasn't good enough, to play against, a team like Pashos. So if you had to pick between, holding midfielders that we had, would you pick between Sissoko and Winks? If you had to pick, for that Pashos game, this is the painful one. This is the painful one. And I might have to go with Musa, despite the distribution problems and, the hospital passes, still being true with Musa Sissoko. I'd probably just go for Musa Sissoko, probably because he'd be better off at taking down a man in case he did lose the ball than Harry Winks. David, for you?
Yeah, for me, I go, I'll be honest with you, Musa Sissoko. Look, I'm fed up with that guy, Harry Winks. He's too weak. And he's just not good enough. Look, he cost us the last game. At least with Sissoko, you can just send him out there and just tell him to just run over people. At least he'll do that.
Yeah. Bob, what about you?
I think with Newcastle on the fringe of this could go either way. With them on the fringe, Winks probably needs to come into the team and show the.
Yeah, it's a no question. It's a no-brainer, Bob. You're right.
That's it. He needs to come in and he needs to show what a great footballer he is against a team named after a chocolate. And Newcastle to go, you know what a performance. Let's get him. Is obviously a first.
I should have said, who would you rather have, Winks or Moussa Dembele? Is probably what I should have said. For the Newcastle fans, watching. Henry, is it obvious for you as well, Moussa Sissoko, or would you maybe play Winks in that holding midfield role against Pachos?
Is there like play with 10 men section that we can
basically like you have to put one of the liabilities into the squad, into the midfield. You have to pick one of these liabilities.
You're playing with 10 men if whoever you pick.
Yeah, you are right. You're playing with 10 men. It's got to be Sissoko. I mean, he's a bit better defensively. He's more physical. He's got more pace, and he's a better ball carrier. So for me, Sissoko, not even a question really.
And back to you, Henry, here. You have a blank check. Let's say we just sold maybe Harry Kane, for that 200 million, maybe this summer. Let's say that happened. You have a blank check. Who are you getting, Mbappe or Haaland, to bring into Spurs?
This is the whole Messi Ronaldo debate all over again. This is going to be the new Messi Ronaldo.
It's going to be the one for 10 years. You're going to get used to it.
For me, personally, it has to be Haaland. Mbappe didn't do too well last year. No goals in the Champions League. No goals in the Euro. Missed the penalty. Haaland is just a different animal. Debut season at Dortmund. I think all in all, he's got 63 goals in 62 games for Dortmund, which is absolutely ridiculous. You don't see another player at that age nowadays.
Do the 1 goal a game ratio, yeah.
It's ridiculous. And as well, if we sold Harry Kane, Mbappe's more of a winger. Haaland goes right in there, and you've got an absolute machine who gives everything for the badge. So it's Haaland.
That's true as well. What about you, Bobby?
I'd keep Kane above them too, but if we did sell him and have a blank check, Haaland, I've never seen him. Whenever I've watched, I've never seen him have a bad game, mate. I've never seen him have a bad game. I've seen Mbappe in the Euros having bad games, and sometimes for PSG, but no, Haaland every time, and there's no exaggeration there. Every time I've seen Dortmund, he's always either scored or had a screamer. In fact, I'd say 99% of the games I've seen Dortmund play, he's always scored. I've never seen him have a bad game.
Dave, for you?
Look, for me, I think it's Haaland. Look, it's just the confidence. It's the desire, the drive to be the very best. Like Bob was saying, never has a bad game, always puts it in. Henry's goal stats, he loves goals. Look, for me, this guy is one of them unique special athletes that come along every once, every 30, 40, 50 years where, you look at the size of him, the speed, the pace, the power, the strength. The guy has it all. He's good on the ball as well. Look at the way he strikes a ball. For me, I think Haaland. I think with Mbappe, I just think he's a bit too cocky at the minute, to be honest with you. Like, look, all the hype going into him after the Euros. Realistically, what did he do? Yeah. You know what I mean? If Haaland was there with Norway, he probably would have dragged them out of the groups and into the knockout stages. So
Absolutely.
For me, I think Haaland.
Yeah, interesting. Seems like everybody's now jumped the Haaland train, where it felt like maybe 4 or 5 months ago, felt like it was a bit more 50-50, and maybe now not so much. But that is the end of Kaniki Answer Me. I do have 2 honestly incredible panelists beneath me that have really sat through this, and I do know they have to go. So I feel like, David, we got to, give them their due time to plug themselves. Henry Wright, where can the people find you? And also really, where can they find more of these brilliant answers?
Yeah, first things first, subscribe to David. He's doing absolute bits. Recently hit 4K subs. Let's get him to 5K as soon as we can. Smash a like on the video. Also go over to Bob Spur TV. Subscribe to Bob as well. Make sure you check out, is it In the Wall series? I've watched a couple of episodes. It is very good. And obviously go over to Jack. Recently started a new channel. Very similar like me. Loves the stat. So make sure you go over and subscribe. You can find me at Henry Wright TV on YouTube. I'm one of 3 hosts for the THFC show. Myself, Toby, and Fuad. A show that does very well. And yeah, make sure you subscribe. I'm on the Football Terrace on Friday as well. I'm at the game tomorrow, so I might do a little vlog. But yeah, I'm absolutely knackered. I have to be out in just under 5 hours. Yeah, thank you for having me on. It's much appreciated. And yeah, I'll hopefully be on soon.
Big up, Henry. Really appreciate you having you on. And everybody as well, please check out Henry Wright's description. Please check out his YouTube link in the description below.
You're not going to do another train where it gets absolutely obliterated. Like, I remember last time my phone was going off. So new subscriber, and the new comment, Harris Army. You're going to have
to turn it off, Henry. You're going to have to turn it off. The computer might get too hot, Henry. The computer might get too hot. But maybe while the computer is getting hot from the notifications, from the subscribers, Bobby, again, thank you for joining us. Where can the people find more of you? What shows maybe, especially, what can we look forward to, maybe on Bob's channel, maybe even where do you might feature, what channels will you be coming on to, where can they basically just stalk you, Bob, is I guess what I'm asking.
Yeah. First of all, big up to my man Dave. We always argue over or disagree with stuff, but it's always great banter. We'll carry on. I'll send him the odd text in about 2 days. He'll come back with a banter and we'll forget all about it. He'll carry on. It carries us off screen. So, but we're all both passionate. We're both Spurs through and through, and it'll always stay like that. It'll always stay like that. But big up to Dave for having me on again. Always an honour. Jack, your shows, mate. Honestly, I think you don't mention it often enough. What the flat cap Euro talk, man. Honestly, one of the best things that have come out recently. And it's only a matter of time before you're hitting 10Ks, mate. Honestly, absolutely brilliant. Henry, not been on your show for a while, matey, so I want to come on. We always have a laugh.
Yeah, we'll get you on soon.
Yeah, we'll always have a laugh. And my show, I've only got 2 definitive shows per week. I do my In the Wall show, 10:30 or 11 o'clock. I'll work it around Dave's channel because he's normally on a Saturday night. And we'll do that. That's one thing we always do. We always work together. And then the day before show, which is a day after Spurs' Premier League games. So at this time moment, it's Monday afternoon show where the day later, cold light day, we'll sleep on it. It's amazing how different the opinions are and the looking at a cold light day. So day after day before show, which is a day after the Premier League game, normally Monday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon, play Saturday. And In the Wall show, 10:30 or 11 o'clock on a Saturday night. And that's basically, we talk about Saturday games and just random shit.
Definitely. Well, appreciate that. And if you guys, Dave, sorry, I think this is Dave's moment, to speak to maybe the Harris. I was just going to say, really, again, I feel like you guys have to, I feel like they brought the debates tonight. They were able to engage with the Harris Army. They were able to, get the chat absolutely flying, these two, Bob Spur and Henry Wright. So please, guys, please. David did put their links in the chat, but it is in the description as well, if that's easier for you. So please check them out. I feel like they brought the spice, the heat, the flavor to this, Kinnicky Anthony that maybe had been missing maybe the last, 2 weeks, considering, we were kind of just catching up on, kind of the dead period of news and everything. And now that things are hot, kind of hyping up again. Really, these guys brought in the heat, they brought in the spice, so really do appreciate it. But yeah, that's all that there is, for Kinnicky Anthony, David. So maybe just pass over, the
flatcapeurotalk, lad.
Oh, that's right, David. Do appreciate it. And I'm forgetting something. But everybody, as well as in the description, please check out flatcapeurotalk. Again, if you need a bit of fresh air, from anything that's Spurs related, you need a fresh air, maybe from the debates tonight, something else, to talk over, something else to think about. You can head on over to flatcapeurotalk. With flatcapeurotalk, there's just so many things that you could practically choose from in terms of, weekend watch lists, what you could watch over midweek, what you could watch over the weekend, young players maybe to check out for. Which young players am I interested in? Which young players would I maybe secretly want at Spurs? And then even as well, there's going to be lots of FIFA content that's going to be coming out soon over there. That's where David and I will be releasing all of the FIFA content. I know lots of people have been interested in to see how David and I get along with FIFA. We'll give you an insight. David gave me the walloping last night. It was practically, I was in a bit of tears. I was, maybe said some things I probably regret, to David, and he probably took it on the chin a bit more than he should have. So I will say, if you want to get into that kind of content, it will be also over at flatcapeurotalk. There's plenty of things I'm honestly forgetting, how many things have been uploaded so far. So please just check it out. But especially if you're interested in, the FIFA, if you're interested in just anything outside of Spurs, as a bit of fresh air, please check out flatcapeurotalk. I really would appreciate it. I think now it's been a week officially since, the channel started. Yeah. Last time I checked earlier this afternoon, we are at 182 subscribers after a week, which is just stupid. I mean, you guys are unbelievable. I will say. But if we were able to get to 200, let's say by maybe tomorrow morning for me, if I were to wake up to 200, that would be absolutely insane. To wake up to 200. So I will say, Harris Army, I know you guys can't do any wrong, but if you guys were to still just wow me that way, I wouldn't even know what to say. But everybody, I really appreciate the support, appreciate the kind words. And yeah, like I said, if you need that fresh air, from Spurs, please just head on over there. It's anything outside of Spurs that's, kind of newsworthy, a bit of, Euro content still provided by a Spurs fan though.
Yeah, look, it's your home for Spurs fans, for European football, guys. So make sure you get over there and check out flatcapeurotalk. I'm heavily involved in it too. So guys, you know, if you love me, yeah, get over there and subscribe it. And if you don't and you love Jack, just get over there and subscribe to it. Make sure you do check out Henry Wright TV. Absolute fantastic content. Like Bob, I do want to come on again. Look, make sure you get over, check out Buzzsprout TV as well. Puts out some great shows there. Like the debate shows like this, guys. So make sure you get over and check it out. I just want to say, I actually think this has been an amazing show tonight. It's exactly what we were trying to do, Jack. Spark, you know, debate and stuff like that, you know, which is exactly what we want to do. We've brought the two best in the business, you know, alongside myself, two of the loudest in the business as well with Henry and Bob, you know, so it's been absolutely fiery. But look, this is what it's about. You know, we all don't have to agree on everything. It's about debates, and I think this has been a great show. So, guys, everyone that's tuned in, massive thank you to the Harris Army for, you know, for tuning in. I want to say a massive thank you to everybody for the super chats. Massive help for the channel. You have no idea. Who else? What else do we have to? Yeah, make sure you do smash that like, guys. Make sure you do smash that subscribe. That says great to hear. You know, Harry is staying 25 goals in the bag. You know what I'm talking about, our lad. You know what I'm talking about. By the way, 9 or 10 o'clock tomorrow, if you can, that'll be sound. Absolute legend, my man. And I'll even help you out with the painting out the back. You know, so I'll do that for free. Big yourself up. But no, look, Bob, you said Mauri's going live. Can you just put the link into the private?
I have, mate, but it won't show it up because I'm not the streamer. But I'll just say to the guys, Mari is a new member of our family. He's going well. He's a great lad, and he's got a Love Lounge show going on at the moment where people are going on and they're just basically taking the piss and they're getting drunk. So it's a really good, different show. Pop over to Mari from That Spurs episode on YouTube, and it's a Spurs Love Lounge episode 2. So it's the Mari Mahri from That Spurs episode. But if you put the Spurs Love Lounge episode 2, you'll find it. It means so much for him. And obviously put in there Harris Raid, pop over, even if it is for the just for 5 minutes, just to get his viewing numbers up. It'd be absolutely, like I say, he's a new member of our family. He's a great lad, and he'd really appreciate it. He would really appreciate it.
Anyone know how I copy this link on the computer? No.
Control C, Dave, if you can.
I've WhatsApped it you, mate. I don't know if that's any
my phone's gone dead, Bob.
Oh, right. Okay. Fair enough.
I can do it. I'll do it.
Okay. So Jack will throw it in there. So guys, look what's coming up. Predicted lineups tomorrow morning. They will be out. So make sure you check that out. Then you'll catch me on the pre-match pump up from 6:30 on We Are Tottenham TV. Would love your support over there. And if you have the membership, make sure you come on and have your say. Also, what else have we got coming up? Yeah, we'll be back at midnight tomorrow with the Packers match review. The reason why it's so late is because We Are Tottenham TV dominate the evening with the fan show. So I decided I will go after rather than do it Friday because we've got other things to do here Friday. And then, of course, that will build us into the weekend where you get Stats with Jack, match preview, match review, player ratings, predicted lineup, the whole shebang. You get it all, guys. So make sure you check following us out. Jack has just put the show in there, the link in there for Mari's show. Guys, make sure you do a raid. Yeah. Hashtag Harris Army, hashtag Bob Spur TV, because he's the one that told us to do it as well. So get him in there. But guys, it's been a good one. We are over and we are out. It's been an absolutely amazing show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks for your support. As always, in Nuno we trust. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, Bergwijn.
You Spurs. Nuno we trust.